of London. And we saw San Antonio last Monday night. Away. Our second Monday night game. And this one's going to start with Garcia's kick going out of bounds and a penalty. Markers down. Last week.
Off out of bounds. The ball will be 30 yards from the spot of the kick. First down.
Last week, 35-34 Orlando. We certainly didn't lack for offense, and we'll hope for more of that kind of fast-paced action tonight as we wrap up the second weekend of World League play. So they're going to spot the ball 30 yards from where it went out, as you heard our referee tell you. And on offense, Frankfurt set to go to work behind Mike Perez, number 11, out of San Jose State.
Let's take this baby down.
Perez, 7th-round draft choice a couple of years ago, the New York Giants. Offensively, here's how they line up with Perez. Tony Baker and Harry Jackson in the backfield. Fortune, the tight end. Jason Johnson and Cedric Gordon are the wide receivers. The offensive line, Still, Poe, Diaz and Fati, Frank and Hackamak across the front wall for the Galaxy. And they start at their own 35-yard line. 3 receivers offside. Gordon in motion. From the 35, they'll give it off to Baker, spins away, and Tony Baker out to the 40-yard line, picks up 5 before Terrence Cooks makes the stop. Let's set the San Antonio Rider defense for you. Across the front, it's Bailey, Ross, and Gardner. And Gardner had an excellent game last week against Orlando. Manning, Walton, Gilbert, and Cooks, the linebacking core. For Mike Riley, Sean Dykes, Gary Richard, Anthony Cooney, and Ken Watson. Mike Perez is mic'd, and you'll hear him throughout the night. 2nd and 5 Galaxy. Quick slant, got Gordon out to the 50. Pickup of 10 and a first down.
Good safe play right there, Brad. One of the things that they said that Mike looked a little nervous last week in their home opener, and Jack Elway said earlier tonight that he wanted just to get Mike into the offense slowly. They started him off with handing the ball to Tony Baker, and a nice quick slant there, working against man-to-man.
Works wonders for your confidence, doesn't Boomer, to get that first one out of the way?
That's right, and remember, their new cornerback down here, Sean Dykes, for San Antonio, they're going to try to pick on him a little bit.
From the 50, first down Galaxy. Deep ball for Gordon, and he overshot it. It was Gary Richard, the right corner, covering.
Quarterback Mike Perez, pass intended for number 88, Cedric Gordon.
Mike Perez, who put up big numbers in college at San Jose State.
My fault, Cedric. I thought you were going to sit down.
Let's listen into the huddle.
Doubles left. Doubles left, 35 on 2, right?
What you're hearing there is you're just hearing him call the offensive formation, doubles left. That you'll see both receivers, the tight end and the wide receiver go to the left. So the left tackle play to the left.
And there it comes for Baker. And he's got pretty good blocking. And Tony Baker picks up about 4 to the 46. San Antonio defensively with Terrence Cooks on the bottom of the pile, number 50, to make the stop. Tony Baker out of East Carolina. Tony Baker, the touchdown maker. That's what they call him in college. And Frankfurt hoping for more of that here in the World League.
Third down and 5 for Frankfurt at the San Antonio.
Good look at Tony. Originally a draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons, and then spent some time with Cleveland and Phoenix. Always has had injury problems and trying to stay healthy here. Third down and 6 for the Galaxy at the 46 of San Antonio. Perez, and somebody went the wrong way there. Incomplete. They'll have to give it up. Alvin Lee, the closest receiver.
We can already see improvement on the San Antonio defense as opposed to last week. But then again, they're not facing the 4 wide receivers that they were facing last week.
Cover 2 we should have.
Right.
Yeah. Tom Welahan into punt.
It was there. That's probably better about
52, his long a week ago against London. And that's Mike Pickett back deep at his own 10-yard line for San Antonio. Welahan, the barefooted punter, has one come off the side of his foot. Going to take a great roll, though, and Frankfurt's going to down it near the 1-yard line. So the Galaxy can't do anything on offense, but their special teams has San Antonio buried. The quarterback for San Antonio, number 11, who came in for the injured Jason Garrett last week and did a nice job, but he goes to work at his own 2-yard line. And some breathing room out to the 6 for Ricky Blake. Offensively, Salt's the quarterback in his 3rd year out of Temple and spent time in the CFL with Mike Riley. There's a good look at his numbers from a week ago, and he led a couple of scoring drives for San Antonio. We'll set the rest of the offense in a moment. 2nd down. at about 6 to go. The Riders from their own 6. Now hit and spinning off and he lost the ball. Big pileup. I think San Antonio got on top of it. James Harper, I believe the right guard, is the guy that'll come off the bottom of the pile. And that'll end up being a nice gain for San Antonio, and it could have been a disaster.
I'll tell you, that's what you call hustle by an offensive lineman right there, to run down 15 yards and make a fumble recovery. That gets offensive linemen game balls.
Here's another look. It was a nice spin by Ricky Blake, Boomer.
It's a good run by Ricky. He's got to wrap the ball up, though.
First and 10 from the 25.
Got to put 2 hands on the ball.
They got it out to the 25-yard line for a first down. And a whistle. This play dead.
That was an awful quick
Got
play
illegal
clock.
delay, 11 offense.
How can you have a delay when you have a no huddle offense?
35 seconds went in a hurry, didn't it? Here's the offense. Andrew Johnson, who had a nice game last week. Bill Hess, Ronnie Williams, the tight end, Pickens and Garrett.
Now first down
The
at
front,
15.
Husby, Kisilak, Vitale, Harper, and Layfield across the front wall for San Antonio. And already Harper with a big play from that right guard spot with a fumble recovery. First and 15. Quick out and in and out of the hands of Dwight Pickens.
Lee Salt's pass intended for number 84.
Cedric Stallworth doing a little talking over there, number 27, part of the Galaxy defense. Defensively for the Galaxy, Hendricks, Teeter, and Mraz across the front. Woolfolk, Moorer, Pau, Brody, and Alexander in a 5 linebacker set with Stallworth, Finch, and Seals in the secondary. Second and 15, San Antonio. Here comes a blitz on Saltz. Got it away, and had he pulled the string a little bit, Garrett may have been off for a touchdown, Boomer.
Brad, that's one of those audibles that Lee Saltz was telling us about yesterday, because the Frankfurt Galaxy like to play a 7-man front, a la the Chicago Bears in 1984 when they went to the Super Bowl with the Bear defense. And usually somebody is going to come free. And if the quarterback has enough poise in that pocket, he can hit an open receiver. John Garrett needs to make that play next time when they call it.
Here's what Lee Saltz is looking at through helmet cam on 3rd and 15. Here he is on the run, firing, got his man complete. Across the 30 is Bill Hess, but I think he's going to be a couple yards shy of a first down, and we've got a penalty marker down as well.
It's a real nice throw by Lee on that particular play. He was rolling to his left, and as a right-hander, one of the most difficult things to do is to set your feet.
Defensive holding on Cedric Stallworth in the secondary for Frankfurt as head coach Jack Elway looks on from the sideline.
Also, what you want to do against a penetrating defense like the Frankfurt Galaxy is you want to move that pocket around a little bit. You don't want those defenders having the same location to go after that quarterback. The more you move that pocket around, the more difficult it is for them to use their defensive front against your offensive lineman to create mismatches.
Galaxy did a nice job of putting pressure on London's quarterback last week. So it's a first down, San Antonio. They got one by fumble recovery and one by penalty. Take them any way you can get them.
They actually lost yards on that penalty and picked up a first down. Figure it out.
The 25. First down for San Antonio. Play fake to Blake. And Saltz in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Dwight Pickens. Stallworth again in on the coverage. Former all ACC performer at Georgia Tech. And Pickens out of Fresno State. Traffic's backed up. We can see it for miles out here on the freeway trying to get into the stadium. I don't know if nobody knew what kickoff time was or... But we will have, we anticipate, a sellout crowd at Alamo Stadium when everybody finally takes a seat. Draw play, and Blake slips and lost about a half yard.
Here's the beauty of this Bear defense. What they like to do is they like to put the 3 defensive linemen over the 2 guards in the center in the interior. They create a mismatch with that center. And if it's a slow developing play, usually one of those defensive linemen is going to come off his block and create havoc in the backfield. And that's the whole design of this defense, is to create havoc in that backfield.
The guy calling the defensive plays there, number 57, Yepi Pau, who had a great game last week against London. Probably the top defensive performance for the Galaxy. 3rd and 11. Saltz running for his life. Pau almost got him. And now he does. Back back at the 16-yard line as Yepi Pau with a sack.
Lee Saltz finally taken down from behind.
Lee Saltz bought himself some time, but he ran out of real estate. And Powell got to him for the first sack of the night.
Well, Coach Jack Elway really told us that his defense played extremely well last week, and we're seeing that again this week.
Please report to the West Gate.
Lee Saltz looking for a place to hide. And you may not see Powell get him because he's coming from the back. There, he missed him once. And Lee ends up on his back. And it's time for San Antonio to punt. Kent Sullivan to kick. High punt. Jason Johnson takes it, mishandled it, and then finally did haul it in at the 48-yard line. 37-yard kick and good field position for the Galaxy on offense when we come back to San Antonio on a gorgeous night in Texas.
For both teams, a little better field position right now for Frankfurt.
Great field position for Perez and the Galaxy offense from their own 48. Straight ahead is Baker.
That is the formation. A lot has to do with the way the quarterback calls the play. He has to have a confidence in his voice that his players in that huddle realize.
Keep it on the ground, and Baker loses yardage again.
So his players realize that this play can work. I mean, if he goes into that huddle and he calls the play with any kind of, you know, with any kind of lack of confidence, then his players are going to know that, and that play's not going to work. Let's see what he does here.
Better spark it up. That one lost 3 yards.
There you go. Wide right, 80, X choice on set, right?
Okay, wide right, 80 X choice. This is a drop back pass. X is his weak side end. Your halfback will be running
Let's see
an
if he
option
goes
pattern on the inside.
to Cedric Gordon on the right side. Deep ball. Gordon in and out of his hands. Nice coverage defensively. Wellaham in to punt again. Last time he dropped it down and his special teams buried San Antonio at the 2-yard line. Flags are down. High moving kick. Pickens will take it at the head coach set on there.
You know, they've had a tough road trip. I mean, they had to actually take a bus from Frankfurt and then go to Paris, a 7-hour bus ride, stay overnight in Paris. They were actually at the wrong airport. They were supposed to be at Orly Airport in Paris. They were at de Gaulle Airport. They had to get up and get to the plane. Delta Airlines was nice enough to hold the plane for them. I don't think the people on that plane were very happy.
Oliver Luck, the general manager of the Galaxy, said it was like a Chevy Chase European vacation movie there for a while. This punt hit the back of one of the Galaxy players' helmet and comes to rest at about the 32-yard line. McCree, number 31, got it right in the back of the helmet. Charles McCree. And San Antonio will have it back on offense when we come back. We're scoreless. That's what it looks like at 7:30 Central Time here in San Antonio as they work their way into Alamo Stadium, where we are for a scoreless game with 6:49 to go, first quarter. San Antonio with the ball back from its own 32-yard line. Saltz to throw on first down. Deep ball, got a man. To the 44's John Garrett.
Interesting play call there, Brad. They brought the tight end in motion and just sat him out in the flat. They kept him short and let John Garrett run a down and out pattern over top of him. And the defender that was covering that area of the field actually walked up towards the tight end. Lonnie Finch was caught there.
25-yard pickup to the 44, Frankfurt.
That's a nice throw by Lee there.
Saltz, little delay give to Andra Johnson, and spins for about a yard. Andra Johnson, one of the workhorses out of the backfield for San Antonio last week.
The rider's Andra Johnson.
Let's watch and listen to Lee Saltz.
804 switch. Wide left 804. 804. 804. 2 731.
I don't know if his receivers heard it, but I've got the call. 2nd and 9, San Antonio. Saltz throws out and completes it to Hess, who's run out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Mark Seal. Little Billy Hess, they used him quite a bit last week, not only as a punt returner, but as a receiver. Had 4 catches last week.
Here you go. Frankfurt is playing man-to-man coverage, a little bit out pattern.
815 switch.
To the 37-yard line went Hess, and it brings up 3rd down and 3.
This is an 8-15 switch.
724. 724.
Again, a 3 wide receiver offense for San Antonio. 3rd down and 3. Saltz going deep. Pickens out there. And he's out of bounds. He hauled it in, but he's out of bounds. He took that orange pylon with him in the corner. Mark Seals was covering.
Mark Seals did a real nice job of forcing Pickens towards the sideline. And you'll hear a lot of defensive coaches teaching their cornerbacks to push that receiver to the sideline. Use that sideline as an extra defender. Nice catch by Pickens.
Good call. One
better play by Seals.
One in and one out. And Teddy Garcia in for a field goal attempt of 54 yards. He missed from 33 last week. And not enough players on the field, and somebody trying to hustle in on special teams. And now it's going to be about a 59-yard field goal, I'm afraid. Moved. It's again a 54-yard field goal. They got the timeout just before the extra player got on, so there was no penalty. And this one is partially blocked. So Garcia's 54-yard attempt is stuffed by Kevin Hendricks. And the Frankfurt Galaxy will take over, and Garcia will think this one over on the sidelines with 4:45 to go first quarter. Thanks to a block kick, still no score. Slant, Gordon in and out of his hands. He would have had a big gainer.
They had quite a few drop passes last week against London, and that's one of the things that made Mike Perez a little bit hesitant to throw that ball as the game wore on last week. And again, we see a little bit shades of that at the beginning of this game.
Perez 1 for 5 is all. He completed his first pass and has missed his last 4.
His last 2 actually have been right in the chest of the receivers, and they should have had the ball.
I know you quarterbacks would like a statistic like that, wouldn't you?
I'd love to have that.
Drop ball or something. 2nd and 10. The delay give off the right side to Baker. Tony Baker gets out to the 42-yard line. Terrence Cooks in on the tackle.
That was actually a counter trap. And what they do there, they start one way, and everybody comes back.
Let's go hack it. They should hack off this son of a bitch now and kill the sucker.
We'll see what we're going to do after this.
Ryder.
Coaches for Frankfurt in the booth. And a 3rd down and 5 to go at the 42-yard line. Galaxy only 25% on their 3rd down conversions last week in their loss to London. They want to throw the slant the other way. Holy cow, that went way over the head of Jason Johnson.
Just got to set his feet and direct the ball right in there. There's a flag on the play. It looks like there could be defensive holding, or it could be
Minus 48 being on the 48-yard line on their side of the field.
Let me interpret the plays.
Okay,
all right.
I'll leave that alone. 4 wideouts for Perez on 2nd and long. Draw play to Baker. Now they're all over Baker. We talked about Terrence Cooks kind of shadowing him, Boomer. He was sure there to meet him that time.
Again, they were in man coverage. They were actually blitzing that time, and Terrence Cook has no other responsibility than Tony Baker, and he met him right in the hole, the way a middle linebacker is supposed to be.
62 buck.
Look a game!
3rd and 10 on the minus 48. Left hash.
Look a game! Look a game!
What you got?
All right.
Right.
Ryder is a defense that is called.
Left.
And they've got 3rd and 9 to earn from the 48-yard line. And they ran out of time.
Blitz by San Antonio. You'll see 5 or 6 guys coming after the quarterback. And here they come, 7 guys.
Look out, and down goes Perez. The guy that gets credit will be Tim Walton for the sack, but boy, did he have some help from his friend.
You know, I like that defensive play call. It's 3rd and 15. You know, don't sit back and let them throw the ball. Come after him. And you can see, here comes the blitz, all up the middle. It's a nice play call by the defensive coaches of the San Antonio Riders.
Gilbert and Cooks almost got him, and Walton finally did.
There's just not enough guys in there blocking for 7 guys blitzing.
Tom Welahan to punt. Dwight Pickens is back deep for the Riders. They're coming after the kick too, but he got it away. End over end. Pickens should have a chance from the 36.
They got a roughing the kicker on the play.
And bulldogged out at the 44-yard line. The punter still down. Welahan in some pain. First down, they came after the kick. You could see it coming, but Welahan, this is not an acting job. He got hit pretty hard.
That's too much aggressiveness. You hate to see this as a coach. Your defense has just played an outstanding defensive series. You got the momentum going for you.
The injured player is the Galaxy's number
Actually
1.
got thrown into the guy.
Kennedy Wilson is the player who got to the punter.
Kennedy actually got thrown into him.
Wlaf still not up. Perez looking for a completion, and again he has one go out of the hands of his receiver Jason Johnson.
You know, Frankfurt actually had the 10th pick, which would be the final pick in the wide receiver draft, and they've had some problems there.
Come on.
Second down.
Go.
Let's listen into the Galaxy huddle again.
Go open, open, open. Go open right. 34 draw on 2 right.
Okay, here you go. 34 draw. He's gonna drop back like he's gonna pass. He's gonna hand the ball to Tony Baker right up the middle. He's got everybody spread out in a passing formation.
Terrence Cooks will be trying to come after Baker, but this time Baker gets a couple. Let's check in with Diana Nyad in New York for an update on the Montreal game. Diana?
Well, thanks, Brad. Montreal's already in for a field goal and a touchdown. The TD was set up here. Barcelona tight end Mike Hinnants fumbles. Montreal's cornerback Steve Lofton picks it up, takes it back to the 5. They score, and Montreal goes up 10-zip over Barcelona. Let's go back to Brad Nessler.
Third down and 8.
Third down and 8. Final seconds of the first quarter for Perez. Going deep. Gordon's out there, and this one he's got. All the way down to the 17-yard line. And a first down on the hookup from Perez to Cedric Gordon.
Cedric Gordon did a real nice job there. Perez hung the ball up a little bit, and he reversed his field. Watch him turn his back into this ball. He's looking at his outside shoulder now. He's going to turn back inside. That's a nice adjustment by that receiver. Good concentration on the ball. Anthony Cooney was versus a deep safety coverage, and Anthony Cooney has to get over there a little bit quicker.
Sets up a first down for the Galaxy. The San Antonio 17. Galaxy driving, but still not on the scoreboard. Scoreless after 1. We'll be back in a moment.
At the end of the first quarter, Frankfurt nothing, San Antonio nothing.
Brad, up to you.
All right, Michael, from the 17, Perez in and out of the hands of Jason Johnson, his intended receiver, inside the 10-yard line.
That's a real good throw by Mike Perez. You're down in this part of the field. You want that ball low as a receiver because you got guys coming all over the place to take your head off. So that was a good throw by Mike right there. His receivers just got to learn to concentrate a little bit more on the ball and not worry about what's happening around him.
Those 2 for 8 numbers you just saw would be much better if his receivers had held on. He's had at least 3 dropped tonight. It is 2nd and 10. Galaxy at the San Antonio 17. Deepest penetration for either team so far tonight. Perez doesn't want to waste it. He's got a screen set up. Flags are down.
Yeah, the left tackle with he moved a little bit too early.
Toss sweep, Tony Baker. And boy, that linebacking core for San Antonio is all over it. Bailey and Greg Gilbert get to him, and Tony Baker's having some tough sledding tonight.
Well, Tony got out there before his guard, Gary Frank. Tony's a little bit fast, shows you just how slow those guards are. And it's important for his guard to get out there to lead him around the corner. When you have guys like Gilbert and Bailey coming out from the outside, it's almost impossible to block both of those guys.
Third down now at 16. They had 1st and 10 at the 17. They're heading the wrong direction.
Well, if San Antonio stays true to form tonight, they're going to bring 6 or 7 guys.
Let's see if they send it. They'll play this a little straighter. Perez with some time. Goes to Gordon. In and out of his hands at the 1-yard line. He holds on to that, and he maybe has a skip step to the end zone. Gary Richard was covering.
Mike Perez has got to be pulling his hair out tonight. He has been right on the money.
And defensively for the Butters, Gary Richard.
This is a nice throw here. Good coverage also. That ball was right there.
Gordon should have had it at the 1.
Nice tight spiral.
On 4th down, Galaxy kicker Stefan Maslow.
Stefan Maslow in to attempt a 40-yard field goal to try to break a scoreless tie. And he does. Maslow, who had the first offensive score in World League history with a 35-yarder last week, hits from 40 here. And the Galaxy leads by 3-play drive. 6.5 minutes used off the clock. 3-0 Frankfurt. Andre Johnson from the goal line for San Antonio. Nice run back. Got it out to the 24-yard line. Michael Barkan, let's check in with our sideline man. Where is he?
I'm right here on the 41-yard line, far side, with Marco Rueda, who is the kicker, the reserve kicker for the Riders, and I'm with Carol Lee Gonzalez, who's acting as an interpreter. And Carol Lee, you know what I want to know? How has he found the American football compared to playing in Mexico?
Marco, que es más diferente a la pelota en México a los Estados Unidos.
Okay, in the United States, big guys, very faster, stronger. Is the difference.
Carol Lee, we don't need you. Brad, back up to you.
On the ground is Ricky Blake, and he's got about 9 out to the 33-yard line. I have a feeling Barkan can talk to like Martians and they'd understand what he's talking about.
Well, he had Helmut Yoder last week, the national kickboxing champion from Germany. So, and this week, why not?
Nice job over there.
You got to love it, though. Everybody seems to have the enthusiasm. From the owners, the players, the fans. These people here in San Antonio are backing this game. I mean, it's a sellout here. Willie Nelson was here. We have it all here this week.
A couple of Texas legends at the game, and Tom Landry's one of them. Willie's the other one. Willie Nelson, who sang our national anthem tonight before the game.
I got to go down there and get one of those.
9-1 with Lee Salt.
The interesting thing about this helmet cam and the mic, you really get a feel for what the quarterback is going through. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Right, yes, and on 1. Trips right. We got 36 counter coming up. All right. Trips right.
36 counter will be an off tackle play to the right. So they'll start to the left and they'll counter back to the right.
Make sure the ball.
Make sure the ball. He tells the running back, make sure you hold on to that ball. Ricky Blake will receive the ball. They'll start to the left and they'll come back to the right.
2nd and inches. There's Ricky Blake. There's the first down and then some across the 40. Blake got his way all the way to midfield and into Galaxy land at the 47-yard line. Nice run.
Real nice run. Good play call there. 2nd down and short. And here you go. You see these big offensive linemen coming around the corner. Nice blocks. Ricky's pushing them into those guys. Hold on to that ball, Ricky.
Blake had 73 yards last week in a loss against Orlando. Salt's quick slant inside the 40-yard line. He got it to Lee Morris.
That's exactly where you want to put that ball, right in his belly. So when he takes a hit like he just did there, he's going to hold on to it.
Lee Saltz has been pretty cool, Boomer, including when he took over for the injured Jason Garrett last week.
Wide left, 350.
Wide left. 350. Wide left, 350. You'll see an off-tackle run to the left by Ricky Blake this time.
First down, San Antonio. They trail by 3.
Here we go.
Blake finds a little room. He got it to the 35-yard line. Terry Fleming and Kevin Woolfolk in on the stop.
One of the reasons you're seeing them have success with counter plays is because the Frankfurt defense is really trying to hit gaps. And when you hit those gaps, you open yourself up to down blocking and pull blocking by the offensive lineman.
11 minutes to go first half. It's 3-0 Frankfurt. It is 2nd and 8 San Antonio at the 35-yard line. What a hit Saltz took. Ball loose. And that one came from Tim Brody.
And that's one of those 5 linebackers that he said he was going to have trouble finding. And the flexibility that they have with 5 linebackers is that they can blitz any one of them. And as a quarterback, you have to have your head.
I don't even think he got a good look at that truck, did he?
Well, he wasn't spanning the defense.
Lee was looking left and Brody came right, and it is 3rd and 8. Saltz buys some time. He's going to head for the sideline. He's got the first down and then cuts back. And a nice scramble to the 15-yard line. First down, Riders.
Lee Morris made a real nice block down in front of Lee Saltz and give him an opportunity to get 5 more yards. But Lee, you got to get out of bounds.
32 track, we're on my left side.
Let's take the helmet cam for a ride with Lee Saltz.
See the nice block. There's a nice block right there.
From the 15, Ricky Blake off the right side. He's got about 7 more inside the 10.
When you have a mobile quarterback like that, it drives defensive coaches crazy.
350.
Okay, here's your off tackle run to the left again.
Second down and 3. This team likes to keep it on the ground. And they do again, and Blake met in the backfield this time.
I was beginning to say, though, when you have a mobile quarterback and you have a defense that likes to play man coverage and pressure defense, much like Frankfurt, there is nobody responsible for the quarterback. He's the one guy that they're not responsible for. And they can make big plays if he can get out of the pocket.
Terry Fleming made a nice stop. And it brings up 3rd down. Almost 4 to go.
Get rid of it.
Salts the fade to Hess. In and out of his hands in the end zone.
Super defensive play by Mark Seals. He did not let Hess come down with that ball.
Mark Seals out of Boston University, the guy that broke it up.
Nice job by Lee to get that ball off in the face of a blitz. And what'd you see there? Reverse angle.
Oh, a little bit earlier now, Boomer.
A little bit early, but what Seals does real nice is he pulls down.
And Teddy Garcia gets a field goal out of it to tie things up.
And a standing ovation.
It's about time Teddy hit one. That's what Mike Riley's thinking. 8:43 to go first half in San Antonio, and the Riders have drawn even. Their first points on their home field, capping a 69-yard drive in 10 plays. Teddy Garcia hit a 26-yard field goal. We're even at 3. And Garcia set to kick it away. Cedric Gordon and Tony Baker back deep for the Frankfurt Galaxy. And Teddy knocked this one almost into the first row over here in front. Don't get me started now, Esiason. From the 35-yard line, it's first down, Frankfurt. Perez, I don't know if that was a play fake or a design play, but he keeps it and goes out of bounds out near the 39. Diana Nyad with an update for us on the game going on in Montreal. Let's go to Diana in New York.
Barcelona is now up on the board in Montreal. First play of the second quarter. QB Scott Ernie fires 21 yards into the end zone and finds Gene Taylor, who beats his man. Montreal now only 10-7 up over Barcelona.
So the Dragons draw within 3 in Montreal. Here we're tied at 3 in San Antonio. Perez lost the ball. Let's see, they're going to call that a fumble. If they do, Kennedy Wilson's got the football for San Antonio.
That was a questionable call. I think he was trying to get rid of that ball there, Brad.
There will be no review.
No, of course not. Remember, the quarterback can flip the ball forward. Let's take a look at this. He was trying to pass that ball.
Well, Gardner's the one that got to him.
No, actually it wasn't. It was a fumble. Okay.
I think that call is a good one. And Kennedy Wilson has the recovery, and Donnie Gardner the big play to knock the ball loose.
Donnie did a nice job. Here he comes. That's a fumble. Mike does a smart thing. I mean, he tries to bat it away a little bit here. Hard to do that when you get a 300-pound monster hanging off your back.
Great field position for the Riders at the Galaxy 40. First down. 3 receivers there to the bottom of your screen. Salt with a play fake and running out of room to hide and goes down to the 49-yard line. Chris Williams gets to him.
That's the play fake off of that counter running play that they've been doing all night long. Chris Williams did a nice job.
Chris got the first 2 points in World League action with the safety on Judd Garrett against London in the opening game last week, and he comes up with his first sack of the night, second sack for the Galaxy team. Second down and 19. Salts goes out to his tight end Williams, who steps out at the 41-yard line.
And a lot of folks wonder, why don't they go for all 19 yards on second down? Well, no, you just want to go back and get half of it. Be conservative. It's a little rollout pattern. You can see through the helmet cam how he's rolling out towards the receivers. Everybody's dropping off. Nice throw right into the body of Ronnie Williams, and you pick up 9 yards. So now it's 3rd and 10, and you're in striking distance of a first down.
And 3rd and 10's a lot more manageable.
Exactly.
Saltz, here comes the blitz. Running for his life again. Throws on the run, and out of bounds is Ronnie Williams, the guy he just hit with a previous pass.
Again, Frankfurt comes with the blitz.
Chris Alexander.
What they're doing is they're putting a defensive end and a linebacker outside of the left tackle, forcing the left tackle to make a decision. Who is he going to block?
Another great call. You see Ronnie Williams' left foot is out of bounds as he hauled that one in. Kent Sullivan into punt. And some excited folks in a sellout crowd here at Alamo Stadium.
She's getting a young start, isn't she?
The Galaxy from its own 7-yard line. Pump fake by Perez, and he wants to go deep, and does for Gordon, and he doesn't hold on. The 45-yard line, Sean Dykes got back there on defense.
I can't say enough about how good Mike Perez is throwing the ball tonight. That ball is on the money again, and Cedric has to slow down and force that defensive back to run up his back. Watch this now. It's a little bit underthrown. Cedric gets on top of Sean Dykes here. Slow down, Cedric. Slow down a little bit. Good play by Sean Dykes.
Dykes got the left arm in there, broke it up. Perez 2 out of 10 on the night. But about 4 passes have been dropped. Baker maybe got a yard. Michael Barkan, let's check in with him on the sideline. Michael.
You mentioned these helmets before, Brad and Boomer, and these were taken, the designer of the logos for the World League actually took an exact reprint of a Nebula Galaxy. And with half this league marketing and glitz, this should go a long way in the stores upstairs.
Does Mike know what a Nebula Galaxy is?
He's out of it somewhere. We know he's out of the Galaxy somewhere. 3rd down and 9 for Frankfurt with those interesting helmets. Side of the offense jumps. Hackamack, the right tackle, out of his stance too early. Now it's going to be 3rd down at about 14.
Tackle just lifts up. He wants to get good position on his defensive lineman.
75 offense.
Wants to get good position on his defensive lineman, and he tries to get a little bit of a jump. You can see he's stepping back to pass block. He would not retreat like that if it were a run block.
Now Mike Perez has got a
Here comes the blitz.
Look at a blitz from his own 4, and he got rid of it. And Gordon in and out of his hands. That time it was Alvin Lee staying corrected, not Gordon.
Mike Perez showed a lot of poise getting rid of that ball before the blitz got to him. Again, it was a good hit that time by Cooney. A little bit behind him, tough catch. But that's how you tackle in the secondary. You dislodge the ball from the receiver. You make him pay if he's going to come in your neighborhood. And there it is.
Nice punt.
Wow.
Blasting it way back to the 35-yard line where Lee Morris finally tracks that one down. And Morris gets a decent return just because the coverage was out-kicked by a mile. Boy, did Welahan get a piece of that one.
Obviously, Welahan is not hurt last time he was out on the field.
61-yard kick.
That's an actually offensive player right there. I mean, that's the type of thing that you need. If your offense is not working well, and your punter comes on the field, that's how a punter really makes his money, kicking those balls out of the end zone. Those are hard punts. It's a whole new mental state of being when you're standing in your own end zone and you got 10 guys coming at you trying to block it.
Still, the Riders have decent field position, better than decent from their own 48.
Comes the blitz again.
Blake cuts outside, near a first down inside the 45, down to about the 43-yard line.
Blake did a good job of avoiding Tim Brody in the backfield.
Right, okay? No, you know what I'm saying? No, not from. I'm talking to finish on, right? You know what I mean? We're out there lining up, head up, and fuck, that's fine. We're just guys, get your asses.
Tommy Lee is the offensive coordinator for San Antonio.
I'll tell you, this is not a church social, I can tell you that. These guys are fired up. They don't even think about what they're saying. They become so involved in the game that they become very boisterous, and they want to get their point across, much like General Patton used to do.
Only we think about what they're saying, right?
Well, actually, you know, I'll tell you, that's just a part of the game.
Stay bottom on that one.
Going to bring in the sticks
This side.
to measure.
Ronnie, did you see him come on that?
Here you go. You hear Lee talking to his tight end, Williams, saying, did you see him come on that?
All right, let's go. Let's go. Hold on the ball now.
Don't forget, we've got a lot more action coming up next weekend. A slate of games highlighting our coverage. Saturday, 2 o'clock, Orlando and London will have at it. And Orlando off to a 2-0 start. Barcelona and Raleigh-Durham. Or Frankfurt and New York, New Jersey at 8 on Saturday night. That's all coming up Saturday on USA. Tie game here, and Blake is run down by Kevin Hendricks. Nice job defensively for Hendricks.
I'll tell you what's nice. It is difficult to figure out what Frankfurt is doing on defense with these 5 linebackers. They always have 7 guys around the line of scrimmage. 6 guys, 7 guys around the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's coming and who's not coming as a quarterback.
27-21.
Second down and 9, San Antonio at the 41 of Frankfurt. Here comes a blitz. Incomplete over the middle. And Saltz took a shot again. Teeter and Pau were there to meet him. Yepi Pau.
You can really see the rush coming at you. Watch Yepi come right at him. Nobody blocking him. How would you feel standing back there seeing that guy coming at you?
Forget it.
And there is nobody there to pick up because Ricky Blake went in motion out of the backfield. So you know as a quarterback, this guy is unblocked. I got to get rid of the ball.
Third down and 9 for the Riders. Williams, the tight end, in motion. Saltz swings it out. Inside the 40-yard line goes Lee Morris. Penalty markers down.
It could be an illegal formation by the offense here. Illegal man downfield.
Ineligible, number 77 downfield. 10 yards and loss of down.
It's a little wide receiver screen, and every time that these offensive linemen hear screen in the huddle, they feel like, well, I can go down the field. Nobody's going to be paying attention to me. Unfortunately, they have to wait.
James Harper, who had a big play earlier with a fumble recovery that got the Riders a first down, that time with the penalty and the loss of down, brings in Kent Sullivan to punt.
Well, here you are as a punter now, knowing that you're going to try to angle the ball out in the corner and stick the other team inside the 20-yard line. This is where it's kind of fun to be a punter, where you can really test your accuracy.
He's placed a couple nicely already tonight.
Looks like they're lining up 9 to come after him right here. Here they come.
Way up in the air. This one might be a minus yardage punt. I don't know if I've ever seen one, but we're about to, or maybe a yard. I don't know. It's right by the stick. We have had 2 of the goofiest kicks in the history of football tonight. One off the foot of Teddy Garcia, and that one by Kent Sullivan.
You know, I think if I'm Mike Riley, you know, I got to think like, what's going on?
You said inside the 20 wanted to put it, not inside the 50, right?
Well, you know, I mean, that's a shame. I mean, you feel like you're out there on an island as a kicker. Everybody sees what you're doing. I mean, that's a tough thing to deal with. We've seen 2 of them tonight.
Perez in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Cedric Gordon.
Threw that ball a little bit high. Usually what happens, it happens to me too. I got to tell you, I throw the ball high on a number of occasions, and one of the reasons being is that you want to get rid of the ball so quickly that you tend to just let it go too soon. And when you let it go too soon, it has a tendency to rise on you. As my quarterback coach, Dana Bible, always tells me, come over your front foot. Throw over your front foot, follow through. And
that
sometimes
brings it down, huh?
Yeah, sometimes you have you hesitate and you don't do that, and you try to get rid of the ball with all arm. 2nd and 10, deep ball this time, incomplete. Jason Johnson, and nice coverage by Gary Richard, the corner. Real nice coverage here.
Let's go to Diana Nyad in New York.
Johnson on the coverage, 44 for the Riders, Gary Richard.
Thanks, Brad. In second quarter action, 2 plays after his own 51-yard reception, Paul Palmer takes the handoff 6 yards into the end zone, and Barcelona goes ahead of Montreal for the first time in the game, 14-10. Let's go back to Brad Nessler.
14-10 there, and 3-3 here with 2:38 to go in the half. Perez gets the completion this time to the 36-yard line to Jason Johnson. Pick up a 13 and a first down for the Galaxy.
Good throw by Mike right there, right in the zone. Hit his receiver right at the belt buckle. Receiver held onto it, had no choice but to hold on to that ball. I like the way Mike Perez is playing tonight. He's playing poised in the pocket. A lot of his passes have been on the target.
His stats are going to look awful, but I agree with you.
But sometimes that is not indicative of the way a quarterback is playing.
The counter goes nowhere, except now, as Gardner's there to meet Baker.
And these defensive linemen are taught, if your offensive lineman in front of you pulls, follow him down the line and follow him where he's pulling. And that's exactly what Johnson did right there. Gardner did right there. Watch out. Here's tackle pulling down, and he follows him right into the hole. Makes a nice play.
There's Donnie Gardner, who had a nice game last week against Orlando, and he's doing the same here tonight. We're at the 2-minute warning in San Antonio, where the Riders and the Galaxy are even at 3.
Real is what we get. Real thing. Get the feel of the real. Coca-Cola classic, yeah. Take the real stand and get down. Every beat just like it sounds. Coca-Cola classic. Can't beat the real thing. It's time they get real. Get Tommy Gill. Those fast fires, there's no denying. Refreshing's just like that. Can't beat the real thing.
Hey, that's not us. We're down here. We're Daihatsu from Japan, and we're new in the neighborhood. So you haven't seen a lot of Daihatsus here. Not yet. But as word spreads about Daihatsu quality, we'll grow bigger, and we won't get a stiff neck from looking up at the neighbors.
With our Charade 3-door hatchback, Daihatsu quality starts from $63.97.
How about a better hand soap?
Not us, we can cope. We don't need no lava soap, no.
Regular soap won't always work, but lava with hummus will. Interested?
No, no, no.
Lava, but don't try to cope without it soap.
In making an artistic statement, one's personal aroma shouldn't do the talking. So I use Right Guard Sport Stick with maximum protection. A true artiste should be known for inspiration, not perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Beautiful night in San Antonio, Texas. And at the 2-minute warning, actually 1:54 to go in the half. Frankfurt and San Antonio tied at 3. Brad Nessler, Boomer Esiason, Michael Barkan with you here in the heart of Texas, where the Frankfurt Galaxy has 2nd and 16. Perez trying to get it out to Tony Baker and took a big-time shot. Greg Ross, the nose tackle, just let him have it.
Take a look at this shot.
Number 94, Mark Ledbetter with the hit on Galaxy quarterback Mike Perez.
Right in the numbers for Ross.
You know, that's like throwing steak to tigers, you know?
3rd down and 16. Frankfurt 3 out of 8 on their 3rd down conversions tonight.
That just gives me a headache watching it.
Perez trying to get away from the pressure again. Has some room, but he's going to have to hustle to get a first down, and he lost the ball. And the Riders have covered it. Perez tried to get all the yardage he could and then lost the handle. The San Antonio defense comes up with a big play. Off the bottom of the pile is going to come Terrence Cooks.
Quarterbacks are not used to running in open lanes much like this. We're not used to taking hits like that.
Greg Gilbert got the shot in.
He was trying to get the first down, so you can't fault him for that.
Yeah, set high. You got wide right, 8-15 switch on one. Ready?
Okay, here we go. 8-15 switch. You watch the inside guy. Billy Hess up top, running an out pattern. He should go to the ball, should go to the left here.
Riders from their own 31. Salt's looking left, going left. There's Hess. Out of bounds. He got 9.
That was a big play for them last week. They had a 4th and 10. They called that same exact play, and he got them 10 yards. Wouldn't have worked last week. They only got 8 yards here. But here he is running against man coverage. Breaks away. Separation from the defensive back. Comes back to the ball. Good job of keeping his feet in bounds. And watch it.
Hess right in front.
He actually
of
got
Keith
pushed
McCoy.
out. He got pushed out, and he's okay. Here comes the blitz.
Salt's got away, got a block. Now he's going to have to get rid of it. And not only got rid of it, he got a first down to Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson gets into Galaxy territory.
And again on this, you'll see John Garrett make a great block downfield to spring Andre Johnson for another 10 yards.
The vertical. That's vertical. Now look it. If it has to be.
How about a look from Lee Salt's perspective?
Here comes the blitz. There they are.
And then he makes like Fran Tarkenton before the throw.
And he sees Undra just floating behind the backers. Nobody paying attention to him.
How do you have time to spot somebody like that, Boomer, when you're running for your life? Ronnie Williams gets this catch and gets out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
It's all a matter of poise. It's all a matter of knowing that when you are scrambling, your receivers are taught in practice to come back to you. If they are on the sideline that you are running to, they'll go up the sideline. If they're down the sideline that you're running to, they'll come back down the sideline. It's a scramble drill, and you work that in practice.
2nd down and 5. The Riders at the Galaxy 43. Salt's, oh boy, almost a big-time interception for Lee Jones, the defensive end.
Knocked down by the Galaxy.
Lee may not have that chance again for a couple more games at least, maybe a couple more seasons.
That was a little screen pass, and Lee read that. He just got in between Lee Saltz and Ricky Blake. Made a nice play.
3rd and 5. Numbers for Saltz. Trying to get his Riders more points before halftime.
Man coverage in a blitz again.
They pick it up this time, but a great defensive play by Keith McCoy, who had a big game against London last week with 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. And great.
Well, if we can go back to the video there and watch Yepi Paiute just come flying in the middle and disrupt the whole pocket.
What a play by McCoy at the end.
Good play.
McCoy out of Fresno State, and another punt coming up. Last time, Kent Sullivan's punt went for 0 yardage off the side of his foot, bounced out right at the marker. This one's not much better.
That one was blocked, tipped.
Goes out at the 26, and the fans don't like it. They were hoping Mike Riley would try to pick up a first down with 52 seconds left in the half, but he chooses not to. We're tied at 3 in San Antonio. We'll be back.
We're Daihatsu from Japan, and we're new in the neighborhood. So you haven't seen a lot of Daihatsus here. Not yet. But as word spreads about Daihatsu quality, we'll grow bigger, and we won't get a stiff neck from looking up at the neighbors.
With our Charade 3-door hatchback, Daihatsu quality starts from $63.97.
All right, we're back with punter Kent Sullivan. And Kent, that's 2 straight. The first one 0 yardage, this one not better. What's happening tonight?
Well, they want me to get the ball out quick because they're coming up from the left side, and I just I'm going too fast. I just need to take my own time. Well, not too slow, but I need to take my rhythm timing what I have, and they just want me to go faster, and that's just sort of, you know, throwing me off. I just need to work on that.
What happened on the first punt? The second to last one?
Yeah, I was going too fast, and the last time I was still going too fast. I just need to slow down a little bit more because they told me just to get rid of the ball. get the ball off so I don't get blocked.
What adjustments are you going to make?
Just mental, just to try to keep my cool and just go through what I know what I can do.
I see your teammates coming up to you. They're slapping you on the shoulder pads. That gives you a little confidence?
Yeah, it gives me confidence. They know I can punt the ball. I'm usually pretty good, and today I'm just not having a very good day right now.
All right, hang with it. Back to you, Brad.
All right, Michael, thanks.
You know, that's one of the tough things. You know, a punter is like a golfer. You know, he has a rhythm. And when his rhythm is going, I mean, and we've already seen him, you know, kick a few balls inside the 20. I mean, he is a good kicker. There's no question about that. And they do have 9 men. Frankfurt does have 9 men coming after him, and they are pressuring him. And the coaches are saying, look, there are going to be a couple guys that are going to come unblocked. You're going to have to get the ball off a lot quicker. He'll be fine. I mean, he's had 2 bad punts, but, you know, that's a part of the game. And you know, we all make mistakes, and he realizes that. So I expect him to come back. He'll probably kick a 60-yarder tonight. I hope he does.
Diana Nyad coming up in about 47 seconds with a Reebok halftime report. She's going to talk to Oliver Luck, the general manager at Frankfurt. Take a look at the action here in the first half of the 3-3 game. Galaxy with the ball, and Jason Johnson, the wide receiver, has it out over the 25-yard line. They're going to hurry it up here with 35 seconds left in the half.
I'll tell you what, when you come into Greg Gilbert's zone, he's going to make sure you know that he's sitting there.
Put a lick on some people tonight.
He really has.
Perez had that one tipped at the line. Boy, the San Antonio defense so much sharper than last week against Orlando. And granted, the Galaxy may not have the Orlando offense, but still.
They're coming hard. And, you know, and we knew that they were going to make some mistakes last week against Orlando because Orlando does so many different things on offense. I mean, it's almost hard to defend that team.
That was the Galaxy general manager, Oliver Luck, former Houston Oilers quarterback. Still only 30 years old and the GM of this team. And
he speaks fluent German.
Interesting feature coming up at halftime on him. Galaxy set to punt it away. Let's see if the Riders bring everybody to try to get to this kick. And it's another beauty by Welahan. Boy, he has just pounded the last 2 punts. Lee Morris runs it down inside the 20.
Good setup.
Looking for some blocks. He got one nice one, but didn't get away from the second wave. 56-yard punt that time. And a 5-yard return. And time for a play or 2 for San Antonio, and that'll be it for our first half.
I think we'll probably just hand the ball to Ricky Blake or just sit on it and get out of here for settle for this score right now at halftime. It's been a good defensive ball game, though. Last week was offensive fireworks, and for the defensive purists, this is exactly what you'd want.
All right, we got 10 seconds left. Just hold on to the ball. We got wide right. We're going 34 stretch. Hold on to the ball, baby. Hold on, hold on.
Just telling Ricky Blake to hold on to the ball.
Hey! Timeout, timeout, timeout. Timeout.
San Antonio's going to call a timeout with 10 seconds left.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if they were a man short out there or what, but Saltz will head to the sideline.
I think Saltz was looking for a little help there.
Shit, better than take another 5 yards.
Yeah, that's better.
Next week we'll be in Montreal for our first international game on Monday night as the Machine of Montreal hosts the Birmingham Fire. Action starts at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Are those guys going to be there?
They were in Birmingham for the opener. I know that. I don't know if they've taken that war paint off yet or not.
Just hold on to the ball now. The wide right, 34 stretch on 1. Ready? Hold on now.
There's a little handoff to Ricky Blake off the right side. Never know, he could pop through and go for a big gain. Good safe play. Please tell him to hold on to the ball. No need to fumble here.
Final play of the half. Blake going to add some statistics here.
He almost broke out of there.
Across the 40 to the 42. We still have 2 seconds left. 19-yard romp for Ricky Blake.
That's a smart play by Lee Saltz. He is in there. He realizes that they only have 10 seconds to go. If Ricky Blake is going to break and make some good yards, he's going to call timeout, which is what he did. He's going to go over to his coach and say, "What do you want to do, coach?" I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Hail Mary here or something.
Try to get a defensive penalty or maybe somehow get a gift.
We're going wide right, 541. I'm going to throw it up. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, so just give me a little.
Yeah. Give him a lot of time. I'm going to send a little bit on out.
Yeah, okay.
Loosening up his arm right here.
Come across. Hey, coach. Just come straight fucking across about. 12. Find a hole in here. So
you know, sometimes we got to make sure the guys are listening to you.
Wide right, 541 on one. Ready?
They're going to throw up a prayer here with 2 seconds left.
You got to make it stick when you're in that huddle. And if they're not listening to you, you got to make sure they're listening to you.
You said Mike Perez wasn't using enough authority in his huddle. I think
there's enough
just
authority.
Straightened it out in San Antonio's last play of the half. And incomplete. Intended receiver Lee Morris fell down in the middle.
I think if I was one of these quarterbacks tonight, I'd be kind of taking a few shots tonight, I think.
So our first half comes to a close in San Antonio. And a couple of field goals. The only scoring so far here in Texas. 3-3, the Frankfurt Galaxy and the San Antonio Riders. Let's go down to Michael Barkamp. Michael.
With Coach Mike Riley. And, Coach, you put a lot of defensive pressure on him. You turned over the ball. What do you want to see defensively in the second half?
Well, you know, we're playing pretty good defense and made a couple of good stands to keep them from scoring. But what we have to do is take advantage of our opportunities. We're not real crisp right now. We need to find that and get better.
Offensively, they're bringing all their men at you. They're blitzing all the time. And Lee has picked it up very nicely. What do you want to see from him and the offense second half?
Well, we move the ball okay, but then they cause some bad plays, which set us back, and we haven't quite been able to keep any momentum because of that. What we have to do is be a little bit more consistent or take advantage of a big play.
Words for Kent Sullivan, your punter. He's had 2 less than average or less than par punts.
He's got a good leg, and he's been very impressive with us so far. He's just got to relax out there and punt the ball and pick it up a little bit. There hasn't really been big-time pressure.
Okay, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Brad.
Into the first half, 3-3. You think that last play was a throwaway? Lee Saltz doesn't think so. Watch this elbow coming up on the final play of the first half.
Hello,
from San Antonio.
Hello, Timmy Brody. Bam!
Pow.
Oh, good night. See you later.
Diane and I had coming up with our halftime report from San Antonio. We're even at 3.
When you're 5'8" and 140 pounds, you don't play a power game. You use your head, your ground strokes, and my secret weapon, speed. That's why I picked the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, I get support, protection, and a custom fit. So if you want to beat those rock and roll tennis guys, pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
From Gillette comes Sensor, the only razor that can sense and adjust to the individual needs of your face. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and individually adjust to your face. The closest, safest, most comfortable. Gillette Sensor, together with the richness of foamy shave cream, for the best shave a man can get.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Halftime report brought to you by the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out. Reporting from New York, here's Diana Nyad.
Welcome, everyone, to our halftime report here on USA. The World League organizers knew that to make American football a wildly popular sport in soccer-crazy Europe, they were going to have to find some general managers with tremendous diversity. Well, the man they zeroed in on for GM of the Frankfurt Galaxy team has a wonderfully diverse background. If you don't know him already, we want to introduce you to him now. His name is Oliver Luck. Last week, the World League kicked off when the Frankfurt Galaxy took on the London Monarchs in Frankfurt. However, the celebration belonged to London as they defeated Frankfurt and danced the night away in the inaugural matchup. Presented with the challenge of bringing professional football to Germany is the Frankfurt GM, 30-year-old Oliver Luck. Luck, a former quarterback with the Houston Oilers, is up to the task, but he knows that it will take more than just luck.
My number one goal is to make American football at the professional level a legitimate sport in Germany. Of course, we compete against the big brother soccer, which is everywhere and has a long and storied tradition. But our goal this first year is to force the sports writers through our 25 or 30,000 person capacity for our games to realize that American football is a sport that has to be reckoned with.
The old cathedrals of Frankfurt are a long way from University Heights, Ohio. There, Luck grew up and was a star scholar athlete at St. Ignatius High School, leading the Wildcats to back-to-back city championships. After high school, it was off to West Virginia, where Luck still holds 4 school records at quarterback. However, his success wasn't limited to the playing field. The magna cum laude graduate was also a Rhodes Scholar finalist.
I think he was just really a blessed kid with brains and with a lot of athletic ability, which he really used and made the best of all the way through up to this day, I think.
Warum Game Day? Ein großes Footballspiel.
And thanks to his mom, a German native, Luck is bilingual. His mastery of the German language is sure to help as he tries to establish a new tradition in Europe.
I think that you'll see a lot of fans begin to feel some national pride in their individual teams, and it will take on the flavor of Germany playing against England or Germany playing against Spain. And that's going to be interesting because the Europeans see that already with their soccer matches. And they've seen how the fans come out to root on the French, or root on the Germans, or root on the British. And we'll develop shortly, I think, in a couple of years, that same type of atmosphere.
Luck's Renaissance man background led to a law degree and just recently an unsuccessful run for Congress. But no background can specifically prepare a GM for pro ball.
As a player, you live sort of a happy-go-lucky existence, relatively carefree. You show up for practice, you stay in shape, you lift weights, you play your games, and you collect your paycheck and go home. And of course, being on the other side now in the front office, you realize how much work goes into organizing 40-man squads and training camp and setting up the sponsorship deals that we have. And it's a phenomenal amount of work. Very much fun, but also a lot of work.
Usually lined up directly behind the bump, okay? Doesn't have to be lined up
The
there.
World League is an attempt to successfully bring an American tradition abroad. Oliver Luck is one ambassador who believes in this dream.
Just the concept of bringing American football overseas, playing games overseas, establishing the first intercontinental league, I thought was an attempt whose time has come.
Well, Oliver Luck and his Frankfurt team just may successfully bring American football popularity to Germany sooner than we all had anticipated. At least the Frankfurt team will be remembered for scoring the first points ever in World League history. That was the safety you just saw. Well, we're going to return to Brad Nessler and Boomer Esiason in San Antonio right after these messages. You're watching the World League on USA.
This is sort of a warehouse of oversized long-distance phone bills. Over the next several months, I'll be analyzing the long-distance bills of small businesses all over America to prove just how much bigger they are than they should be. Travel agencies, accounting firms, moving companies, money managers, maybe a small business like yours, will all come under our scrutiny. For instance, here's an interesting one. A Los Angeles law firm. In 1 month, it seems, they spent about $350 calling the 201 area code. Must have been a big case. Very impressive. What's not impressive is that their long-distance company didn't give them an extra discount for those calls. And look, no account codes, a completely separate bill for their 800 calls, and no way for business calls made from the partners' homes to be included on the office bill. My advice? These lawyers should get a new long-distance company to represent them, like MCI. With MCI Preferred, the ingenious new long-distance service for businesses that spend under $1,500 a month on long distance, office bills, calling card bills, 800 bills, home bills, are all on one bill. It's a lot easier to handle. And here's the true genius of MCI Preferred. You get an extra discount on the combined total, as well as an extra 10% discount on the area code you spend the most on each month, which in the case of these lawyers would be a yearly savings of about $2,000 over AT&T's best price services for them. That would pay their long-distance bills for nearly a month and a half. MCI Preferred will solve just about all of your business long-distance problems except one. It can't pick up the phone for you. That you still have to do for yourself. Please forgive the cliche, but our operators are standing by. Well, actually, sitting by.
Alamo Stadium in San Antonio, where the Riders in their home opener, even with the Frankfurt Galaxy at 3 apiece. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Boomer Esiason along with you. Last week we had all kinds of points, Boomer. We didn't know what to do with all of them. We got a 3-3 tie here, but you like that defense.
Well, I don't really like the defense, to tell you the truth. I'd rather see the points. But, if I'm Mike Riley, I'm scratching my head because last week they lost the game on special teams, and this week their special teams has been very disappointing, to say the least. I think we've had 3 kicks for a total of 12 yards, and one of those kicks was a kickoff.
Remember, Garcia missed an extra point last week that could have sent the Orlando game into overtime, and then the punter, Kent Sullivan, having all kinds of trouble for San Antonio. But we've gotten some interesting perspectives from helmet cam again tonight, haven't we?
We sure have. This is unbelievable for me to watch this because this is exactly how it is when we're in the pocket. Here he goes. He's on his scramble to the left and actually gets hemmed in, and you could see him getting hemmed in there. At least Saltz, that is.
You don't always end up on your backside, though. Sometimes you find your wide receiver, which he will here in a moment.
And on this particular play, it was a scramble. You can see that the 2 outside linebackers come unblocked. Actually, he's running down the sideline, and the receiver does a nice job coming back and gets his feet out of bounds.
And then the final play of the half, and you remember Lee Saltz says, I'm going to put one up there. You guys try to come down with it, or maybe we'll get an interference call. Well, he got more than that, didn't he?
Now, I wonder if Tim Brody, mom, knows that he does this on the field. Look at this. Boom. Where did he learn that?
I don't know. That, folks, is called a forearm shiver by Tim Brody. That was the final play of the half. We're almost set for the second half in San Antonio. It's the Riders and the Galaxy, even at 3 on a beautiful night in the heart of Texas.
No one can guarantee you a perfect world. A world where the unexpected never intrudes. But some of us know we'll be taken care of, quickly and compassionately. In an imperfect world, you're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
Homeowners, what will you do when your local landfill refuses to take branches, leaves, and other yard wastes anymore? Piling up these materials creates an awful eyesore, and burning is just not the answer. But now, the Troy-built Tomahawk Chipper Shredder offers a modern, easy way to dispose of all your yard wastes. The Tomahawk devours leaves, brush, and prunings, and chips branches up to 3 inches thick. It conveniently bags the shreddings and wood chips it produces so you can easily recycle these materials as free fertilizers and attractive landscape mulch. The Tomahawk Chipper Shredder will make your property look great by turning hard to get rid of trash into treasure. For your free catalog on the complete lineup of Tomahawk Chipper Shredder models for small and large properties, call toll-free 1-800-645-8900. There is no obligation, so call today. That's 1-800-645-8900. Operators are standing by.
The World League on USA is brought to you by Allstate. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Alamo Stadium is sold out for the home opener for the hometown Riders. Halftime statistics. Let's take a look. Look at the rushing yards for San Antonio, and most of that is Ricky Blake, Boomer.
Ricky Blake had 84 yards on 11 carries for a 7.6 average. That's quite a night so far.
Time of possession fairly close. 2 turnovers. Frankfurt with a couple of fumbles.
And I consider some of those kicks turnovers.
That's right.
I mean, they really are, because the kicking game is what gives teams field position. And when you're a coach and you're struggling offense, you expect your special teams to give you field position, to take some of the heat off of your offense. And that just hasn't happened for San Antonio tonight. I don't think they'd be in a better situation than they are right now.
Teddy Garcia missed a long field goal that was blocked, and then had a kickoff that looked as though it was blocked. And he has got it teed up right now to kick it away to start our third quarter. Tony Baker and Cedric Gordon are back deep for the Galaxy of Frankfurt.
I'm a little impressed, or I should say I am impressed with Frankfurt, because we knew that they had some awful travel plans. We talked about this earlier, but they had a 7-hour bus ride from Paris to, from Frankfurt to Paris, and then they had an overnight flight to, I guess it was to Atlanta, then from Atlanta to San Antonio, and they had to get acclimated time-wise. Actually, I think they landed on Wednesday here in San Marcos, Texas.
Okay, stay on sides now. This actually starts a 3-game North American swing for them. They have the New York, New Jersey Knights and the Sacramento Surge before they go back across the ocean.
I wonder what that distance is, Sacramento.
Penalty on the opening kickoff of the third quarter. And a fumble on a mishandled kick return. Now let's wait and see.
It's offsides by the kicking team. Mike Riley is going to go crazy if they recover a fumble here.
And now we got a little fight going on here, but they're trying to get straightened out as Greg Gilbert comes onto the pile with the football.
We have offside on the kicking team.
I think I heard a whistle as that kick was in the air, and that saves San Antonio.
Short kick, tough to handle. There's a little bit of a wind. Garcia looks like he's kicking into about a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. Tough to field for Baker. But I think Mike Riley is going to practice special teams.
I think we may not have the opportunity to turn his mic on for at least a couple more plays if they don't get a good kickoff here. There's Mike.
Covering his mic.
5 penalties each way tonight so far. Riley, CFL Coach of the Year on a couple of occasions in '88 and in 1990 with his Winnipeg club winning the Grey Cup last year.
We talked to a couple of his players last night, and they all said to a man that they love playing for him. That he's the type of guy that you really want to throw everything out on the field for. And that's nice to know, because he seems to be a real nice man and really knows his football. He's got this team in shape.
This kick goes right down the middle. It is also mishandled by Gordon, and he's just going to stay there at the 21-yard line. This one's been a special teams nightmare so far, as Jack Elway and Mike Perez will talk it over on the sideline.
I don't think that this has really been, I don't think you can call them special teams, actually.
That's true. That's something like saying jumbo shrimp, right?
That's right.
A little oxymoron that does not pertain tonight. They are unspecial teams, non-special teams. At the 21-yard line, the Galaxy offensively. Baker cuts back. Nice run out near the 28-yard line. Donnie Gardner in on the stop. Listening to Mike Perez. So he gets the signal from the sideline, and he'll let us know what the play is going to be.
Here we go. Trips right, jet. 30 seconds on 2, right? Hustle out, hustle out.
Second down and 3 for the Galaxy. Perez 4 out of 17 in the first half. Had a lot of drop passes. Baker all wrapped up by Mark Ledbetter. Ledbetter's had a good game defensively. Ledbetter coming from the left side to make the stop on Baker. Nobody touched him.
Somebody missed a block there.
Brings up 3rd down and 3. Galaxy on their opening possession of the third quarter.
I think our producer Kenny Wolf couldn't even made it through that hole and made that tackle.
I don't know. Perez over the middle, and he's got his big tight end all the way out to the 48-yard line. Chad Fortune, and that's the first time they've gone to him. I thought we'd have seen a little bit more of that. Fortune had a pretty good game last week, first-year player out of Louisville.
You'd like to see him use him a little bit more at 6'5", 230 pounds. Rather large target. See, Mike throws over his front foot, comes through, hits Fortune right in the numbers. A good tight end is going to punish his would-be tacklers, and that's exactly what Fortune did there.
Gilbert finally made the stop, but not until Fortune got to the 49-yard line. First down. Perez swings it out to Baker with a head of steam, and Tony Baker's got a first down to the 37-yard line of San Antonio.
It's a good play call there. They caught San Antonio in the zone defense. Linebackers dropping back 8-9 yards from the line of scrimmage.
First down.
Affords Baker some room on the outside here. Makes a nice catch. A la Walter Payton right there.
And Baker makes 14 yards out of it. Another Galaxy first down, back-to-back pass completions for Perez. His team now at the 36 of San Antonio. Plenty of time for Perez, and now he's run out of it. And he's going deep. Gordon's out there. Touchdown. Perez hooks up with Cedric Gordon. 36 yards. Touchdown. Frankfurt.
It's amazing what happens when your receivers catch the ball, Brad. I'll tell you, he showed a lot of poise on that particular play in the pocket. Moved away from the rush and found Gordon going against the grain. Actually, what happens there is that Perez was moving to his left, and the receiver's moving back to his right. And as Perez is moving to his left, the defense kind of moves with him.
Sean Dyke's got a little trap there, and Gordon's got a 36-yard touchdown.
And Sean's just moving along with the quarterback, and then the receiver gets right in behind him.
Stefan Maslow in for the point after. There's the first pretty kick of the night. Extra point, up and good. We'll get another look at Cedric Gordon with a big smile after a 36-yard touchdown catch. As Mike Perez loads it and goes deep. And the first touchdown of the night is Frankfurt's. They lead 10-3.
Pour it on, work it out. If you're talking about sports, that's what it's all about. So pump it up, pump it out, pour it on and work it out.
Because after working out, you don't want to fill up. So reach for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Talking about Coors Light, it's the right beer now. Pour it on and work it out.
From Gillette comes Sensor, the only razor that can sense and adjust to the individual needs of your face.
The best a man can get.
Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and individually adjust to your face. The closest, safest, most comfortable. Gillette Sensor, together with the richness of foamy shave cream, for the best shave a man can get.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Power Stick Antiperspirant. It gives a man what he needs to excel. Power. Control. Power Stick. Stroke per stroke, 50% more power. 50% more odor and wetness fighters. 24-hour control that ordinary deodorant sticks just can't beat. All day, all night. Power Stick for 24-hour control.
Okay, here we go. Here's the last touchdown play. Cedric Gordon right here running a down and in pattern. Mike Perez dropping back, moving away from the rush. Sean Dykes then moving with Mike Perez, enabling Cedric Gordon to get behind him for the touchdown back in here. Here you go. You can see Cedric Gordon running right up the field. Everybody moving with him. And he gets in behind Dykes for the nice play and a nice throw by Mike Perez. He showed a lot of poise in that play, Brad.
Third catch of the night for Gordon, and Perez on the whole drive looked good. Over 3 for 3 on that drive that capped off a 79-yard march for the touchdown.
He's just doing what he's doing all night long, throwing the ball where it's catchable.
Bill Hess brings it out of the end zone and got it out near the 24-yard line. Let's go to Michael Barkan. What do you got, Mark?
I'll tell you what, Brad, we just heard Boomer's analysis and illustration of the whole thing. We'll talk to the guy who threw the pass, Mike Perez. What happened on that play?
Well, it was designed to go underneath, but the linebackers didn't get a deep enough drop, and the rush forced me to the left. So as I rolled out to the left, I still kept my eyes upfield and was able to find our receiver, Cedric Gordon, head across the field. And just worked out. He wasn't primary, but I'm glad he kept running.
Is the passing game, in your view, effective against these guys, or would you rather run more?
Well, you know, they're playing pretty good defense, and I'll take nothing away from San Antonio. We just got to execute our game, and hopefully, you know, things open up.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, Brad.
All right, guys. Andre Johnson carries for about 6 yards out to the 30 for San Antonio.
San Antonio's got to pick it up here. They go to their no-huddle offense, and Lee has really got to get them moving. Can't allow Frankfurt to control the momentum of this game in your home stadium.
2nd and 4. Look out. Loose ball. Frankfurt's got it. Mraz made the hit, and I think Kevin Hendricks is the guy that scoops it at the 25-yard line.
It's almost the same thing that happened to Jason Garrett last week.
Here comes Mraz.
Fumble recovered by Kevin Hendricks.
The interesting thing there is they only had a 3-man rush there. Lee was going to go to his inside slot down here on the right side, and he gets knocked down. Hello.
Well, obviously didn't see him coming.
Oh, well, you know, things happen.
At the 25, Perez going deep again. Another man open. He just overshot Jason Johnson, who ran out of room on the far side. And you see a little blood on the elbow of Saltz, the quarterback, who really took a shot from Mraz from the blind side.
You got a little shaken up on that play. It's AstroTurf. This place is called the Rock Pile, by the way. And one of the reasons the players call it the Rock Pile is it's almost like playing on rocks down there. AstroTurf is not a fun field to play on for any player.
2nd and 10. Galaxy with a play fake by Perez. A lot of room in front of him. He throws, and it's complete inside the 10 to the 8-yard line to Craig Morton.
But Frankfurt is coming out smoking this second half. A little play action fake, half roll. Had the San Antonio defense completely fooled.
First down for the Frankfurt Galaxy at the San Antonio.
This is man coverage right here. Getting good separation, concentration on the ball. They're catching the ball this half.
Nice grab by Craig Morton. He's got a good football name there. Not a quarterback, but a wide receiver who's got Frankfurt a 1st and goal.
He's got to get rid of this ball now. It's 3 seconds on the play clock.
Just got the snap off. Tony Baker takes it to the 4-yard line. Let's go to New York and an update on the other game we got going on tonight with Diana Nyad.
Brad, the crowd is 54,000 strong up in Montreal tonight, but the home fans have seen Barcelona score 21 unanswered points. The last TD being this 1-yard plunge by Lydell Carr. That makes it 21-10 as we start the 3rd quarter. Let's go back to Brad Nessler.
Here it's a 10-3 ball game, with Frankfurt trying to add to it, and the ball comes out, but it was blown dead as Baker went down at about the 3.
You know, the interesting thing that happens down here, Brad, is that everybody gets packed in. That's almost impossible.
You're too stacked up inside.
There you go. Quarterback's telling us 2 stacked up inside. Stop running inside. Listen to me.
Time out. Time out.
Mike Perez is going to call a timeout to go argue with his coaches.
Well, the coaches want to run it up inside. He said, we can't run it inside.
With it.
All right, here we go. Mike's going to come over here and tell him, look, they're 2 stacked inside.
2-yard line. He's okay out there.
All right, here you go.
Hey.
This is like talking to the moon.
Let's see if Mike Perez and Jack Elway
we got 3rd and 3.
have a difference of opinion here.
3rd and goal.
3rd and goal. On the 3, right?
Yeah, we're on the 3-yard line.
All right, I write 4:36, OT at 7.
It's probably the way Mike Perez is running back on the field. Looks like he's getting ready to throw a touchdown pass. No argument, nothing. So it could be a play action pass here. Let's see what happens.
Mike is 4 out of 5 this half.
I write 4:36, OT at 7. On set right.
Okay.
San Antonio changes up their defense at the last instant.
I right tells the backfield line in an I formation. Your tight end to the right side. Could be a play action pass. Let's see what happens. There it is.
There's a play fake to the end zone. Just overshot Steve Bartello.
You know, it's amazing how the quarterbacks, you know, forget it. We don't want to run up in the middle. And these are the cheap touchdown passes that we all love.
He's wide open.
He was open and overshot his intended receiver.
The nice thing here is a tough throw running to his right, trying to throw back to his left. And he actually had 2 guys, and I think he had a little indecision as to who he was throwing it to.
Stefan Maslow in for the field goal attempt of 20 yards. And a bad snap. And Frankfurt's going to come up empty on this drive. Alex Espinoza, the backup quarterback, couldn't handle the snap from center. And it remains 10-3, Frankfurt in front. So they waste a big opportunity to tack on 3 more points.
Espinosa's got to hold on to that ball. I do not want to be in a special teams meeting for either of these teams tomorrow.
9:09 to go third quarter. We'll be back.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth. This is an important message for U.S. veterans discharged after 1940. Whether you served during peacetime or war and are currently aged 30 to 69, call this toll-free number now for free, no-obligation information about a veterans-only term life plan that costs just $1 a week. These veterans' life insurance benefits are guaranteed never to go down, and they are available at the guaranteed rate of just $1 a week. There is no waiting period. Benefits are paid from the first day of coverage. Call this number now for free information about this $1-a-week veterans-only life plan. Remember, only veterans, their spouses and widows, age 30 to 69, qualify for this offer. Term life insurance for $1 a week. Don't wait. Call this toll-free number now for free information from Veterans Life Insurance Company.
They're making the biggest comeback in swashbuckling history. One for all, come on! Richard Chamberlain, Kim Cattrall, Michael York, the return of the Musketeers. Wednesday at 9.
Here we go, let's go. Eye wide right, 32 trap on 1, ready?
There you go, 32 trap up the middle. The ball will be handed off to Poli's left. The left guard should be pulling to the right, trapping one of the defensive linemen that are penetrating.
We got an eye backfield for the first time tonight for San Antonio. Boy, it was a quick draw. He almost missed the handoff. Ricky Blake got it out near the 20.
He had the right guard pulling. He led.
San Antonio, Texas. Here's a question for you. Will Swamp Thing rescue his arch enemy in order to save the swamp? It's a deadly decision on an all-new episode of Swamp Thing, Friday night. 10:30, 9:30 Central here on USA. We've got our own Swamp Thing, Michael Barkan, who's somewhere on the sideline. We'll go to him here in a couple of minutes. 2nd down and 7. And Andra Johnson got it out near the 24-yard line. Kevin Hendricks in on the stop.
Looks like San Antonio is just trying to calm themselves down a little bit. Trying to run the ball a little bit more. 3rd and 4. You know, I never understood this. We have the wave going on right now.
While his team's on offense.
While his team's on offense.
Supposed to do that when the other team's got the ball.
Exactly.
Johnson sets up in a slot there at the top of your screen. Salts fires.
There's got to be interference. That's
an interference call coming up on Cedric Stallworth.
You know, that's a close call there, Brad, because you got to decide. I mean, the defender has the right to the ball, but he cannot impede the offender's.
Defensive pass interference, number 27, 15 yards, first down.
Road to that pass. And that's exactly what happened there.
Cedric Stallworth doesn't like the call.
You know, these guys, you know, he's saying, hey, look, I have every right to that football. But not if you're going to hit the receiver before the ball gets there.
Cedric Stallworth, an all-ACC performer at Georgia Tech, an academic all-ACC performer as an electrical engineer, but he didn't have that one engineered quite right. And he comes up with a 15-yard penalty at the 39-yard line. San Antonio first down. They're trying to tell their crowd to calm down. The crowd's having too much fun.
The crowd is having a great time.
You're supposed to have to quiet the crowd when you're down near the goal line. They're having to do it out of their own 39-yard line. Ricky Blake got to the 40. That's it. Pickup of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. Yepi Pau made the stop defensively along with Kevin Hendricks.
When we were talking to Jack.
135. Far change.
Far change. 135. 135. 135.
Play is 1:35.
With a 2nd and 9.
See a little roll to the left here.
Look out. Schultz goes down. Looked as though nobody blocked Chris Williams. That's his 2nd sack of the night.
Mike Kieselak's got to get out in front of him. He's got to know that his quarterback's coming to the left.
Chris Williams is a load, too, about 305 pounds.
There's Mike Kieselak trying to push him. You try to push that guy.
Oh, get a bulldozer to push him back to the 29-yard line with a 3rd and 20. 4 wide out group for Schultz. Deep sideline, in and out of the hands of Lee Morris and Cedric Stallworth in the coverage.
Lee Schultz pass for 86 Lee Morris.
So San Antonio's going to have to kick it away. And this could cause an experience because Kent Sullivan's back in.
So that's a planned play to throw an underthrown ball. The defender has no idea where that football is.
I hope Kent Sullivan gets into this one. This is a nice punt. High spiral. And the fair catch by Jason Johnson at the 35-yard line. Good for Kent. He's got it back in gear. It's 10-3 Frankfurt with 6:33 to go in the 3rd quarter.
If you're looking for a hotel that was made for you, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotels, where we made every room a 2-room suite so you can spread out and work, or stretch out and relax. Where we made breakfast free and easy to free up your schedule. Where we made beverages on the house so each evening you can loosen your tie and relax. Call 1-800-EMBASSY. We were made for each other.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
I'm going to send you the best support available.
For this team, no mission is impossible. Counter-Strike on USA, Sunday at 9.
Boomer, you don't always take shots from the opposition. Sometimes your own guys get you, right?
Well, sometimes they do, and I'll tell you what happens here. Ricky Boy says, hello, get out of the way now, give me the ball. But I'll tell you the reason is because Chris Williams, 6'3", 305 pounds, is wreaking all kind of havoc down in there.
Pass intended for Cedric Gordon, incomplete. Let's go with a swamp thing down on the sideline, Michael Barkan.
Woo, Lord, I'll tell you, we got Paul Rodriguez right here, and you're enjoying the game, but you're from L.A. Why are you here?
Because I'm trying to get away from the Los Angeles Police Department.
Everything's the same, I see. I want to know what you think of the game, and we're talking about helmet cam. What do you think of that?
I think helmet cam is a great idea. It's terrific. That's what turned me on. I saw it last week. This is one of the reasons I think this league is going to work.
What do you think? You ever play any football?
No, I'm Chicano. The closest thing I can get to playing football is kicking it.
Back to you, Brad. I can't compete.
Okay. Two comedians taking the seats up down there on the 50. Meanwhile, a pass is complete to the 45 and a first down. Ken Watson thought he had an interception at the end of the play. We'll get another look.
This is a seam pattern to be run up in between the zones.
Cedric Gordon made the catch.
It's going to be on early downs.
Good job holding on to it. He almost got it stripped.
Cover 3 from that.
20-yard pass play. Tony Baker back to the Frankfurt ground game, and he's got about a 4-yard pickup to the 41. Tim Walton in on the tackle. That's Jason Garrett, who injured his shoulder last week. Separated shoulder, will be out about 5 weeks, they think.
You know, they have an interesting concept here in the World League that when you lose one of your quarterbacks, or actually one of your players, they have to go to a pool of players that are located in Dallas. It's called Team Dallas. And there are about 60 guys down there that practice for about an hour a day and look at some films, I guess. And when somebody gets hurt, they go to Team Dallas and pull a guy from that pool of players.
Mike Johnson, the backup quarterback now for San Antonio from that team. Tony Baker. And he's going to have a first down, it looks like, at the 35-yard line. Sean Dykes ran him down. They may have to take a look at this one. It's right on the 35, and that's where the marker is. See if they bring the chains out that yard over there on the far side.
No,
nope,
all offense is really, Brad, is execution by all 11 players. If you're dropping back the pass, your quarterback needs time. He needs his protection from his offensive lineman. He has to put the ball in an area where the receiver can catch it.
In there, we're not.
And that's exactly what Frankfurt's doing now. They're catching the ball and they're executing.
Boy, there was no execution. It didn't appear in the first half. Here comes a blitz. Baker cuts outside down to the 30-yard line. Flag down.
Your receiver was holding.
Cedric Gordon got a piece of Gary Richard, it looked like, out there in the flat.
Holding 88 offense.
You can see on the replay just how clear this hold is here. Watch Cedric. Watch, he actually grabs him on the outside. Tackles him.
Tackles him. Nice tackle, Cedric. Tony Baker goes down. It would have been a 5-yard gain. Instead, they walk it off the other way. Back out to the 40-yard line. Jack Elway, head coach of the Galaxy.
Okay, doubles right. Doubles right. 80 Z swing. Doubles right, 80 Z swing.
There we go, doubles right. 80
Where's
Z swing.
Cedric at?
Watch the blitz. Watch the blitz.
He's screaming, watch the blitz. He's telling his inside receivers, watch the blitz. Watch your Z receiver, the inside down here to the left, running an out and up pattern down the sideline.
On 1st and 15, blitz.
There you go.
Deep ball in and out of the hands of Jason Johnson. And that's one you got to hold on to as well. Kennedy Wilson.
Well, you know, that's a tough play for that receiver. I mean, if you're Jerry Rice, you're making that play. I mean, but,
yeah, no, it's second down.
Doubles right, 80. Doubles right, 80 Z swing. Doubles right, 80 Z swing.
There you go.
He's going to call the same play.
Doubles right, 80 Z swing on set.
That's a 4-2 front, wasn't it?
Hustle out.
They're talking about a 4-2 front. They mean that the defensive scheme for the San Antonio Riders is 4 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. And here they come blitzing again.
There's the swing out to Baker. And Baker is all the way down near a first down at the 25-yard line. Tony Baker gets the wheels moving. He gets out there in a hurry.
And that's a real good call versus a blitz by your linebackers, because your linebackers are usually responsible
doubles
for
left,
that.
80 Z swing. Doubles left, 80 Z swing.
Just keep calling the same play if San Antonio's going to be playing the same defense.
Doubles
Perez is warming up.
Doubles left. 80
In this quarter, he's 7 of 11 for 130 yards and a touchdown.
Okay, let's watch Baker swinging to the left here now. And if San Antonio is blitzing, they're light in the weak side flat. There it is.
Wide open. Oh, and Baker, it goes through his hands. He would have had at least 15 more yards out there of open territory.
Right now, they're just, it's almost like pitching the ball to Baker out of the backfield. They're taking advantage of his speed and his ability to catch the ball.
You know, Oliver Luck, the general manager, told us he thought maybe they'd try to throw to Tony Baker 10 times tonight. But I don't know.
Well, he had a little trouble right there, just didn't concentrate.
4th down.
4th and 1.
Dual backfield. Now they switch to an I. Baker the tailback. First man, Bartalo. I don't think he got it. No way. San Antonio's defense rises up, led by Tim Walton, number 57.
That's a turnover created by the defense right there. That's a big play that this San Antonio team needed. The crowd needed something to get them going, and that's exactly what they got right there.
So the Galaxy, they've been working in San Antonio territory much of this 3rd quarter, but they came up with a bad snap and thus no chance for a field goal on their last drive. And then after a good-looking drive, they come up short on 4th down, and with 3:07 to go, 3rd quarter, it's still 10-3.
2:36 on 1.
2:36.
The right tackle needs a little help there. A little extra tutoring session coming out of the huddle.
First down from the 26 for San Antonio. Salt sets, had it batted in the air. Terry Fleming got a hand on it.
Frankfurt's defense is doing a real nice job. They took the films from last week and they studied how those quarterbacks from San Antonio were moving out of the pocket, and the outside defensive linebackers, or the ends, in this case it was a linebacker, Fleming, stayed at home and forced Lee Saltz to pull up as opposed to getting outside. Good play by Fleming right there.
Saltz goes out, completes it to John Garrett, and Garrett's mugged on the far side. Got it out near the 33-yard line.
Finch and Seals, they really laid down John Garrett. Is the blitz, and here comes Yeppy.
Powell with the blitz.
And again, Lee shows good poise in getting rid of that ball. Now they're saying Yeppy Powell is a small guy. I saw him down on the field. This guy's a house.
Big third down for San Antonio.
Here he comes again.
Saltz throws to the sideline, incomplete. And Cedric Stallworth knocked it away again, number 27, who had an interference call earlier. He's made a couple of nice plays. That time the pass intended for Ronnie Williams, the tight end.
Defensive coaches said they are going to bring the pressure. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Lee. They're going to try to force him out of the pocket. Exactly what they're doing. They're bringing 6 guys almost on every play. In the NFL, you usually get 4 or 5 guys. You feel like you can get enough pressure on with those people. But these guys are bringing 6.
6th punt coming up for Kent Sullivan.
That makes for a very physical night for the quarterback.
Sullivan with his 2nd good punt in a row now. Fair catch taken at the 28-yard line by Jason Johnson. 38-yard kick that time with 1:58
Way to go,
in the 3rd quarter. Let's take a walk down Riverwalk here in San Antonio. It's a Galaxy by 7.
Okay, say, do I love the authentic Frosty Mug taste of A&W root beer?
Marker.
Action. God, was that an earring? Action. What the?
Marker.
Get rid of the silly jewelry.
Ooh, silly!
It's the taste that made A&W famous.
Enter the A&W season opener sweepstakes and you could win a weekend at a fantasy baseball camp and get the chance to go home with a 1991 Mercury Capri or one of 5,000 other prizes. Enter the A&W season opener sweepstakes today.
Did you know the cost of 2 business calls from these Detroit mechanics to Atlanta may surprise you?
Vintage cars are my specialty.
With AT&T Long Distance, your small business can get AT&T quality at extremely competitive prices.
I treat cars like people.
Even though the other company would like you to believe
See ya.
they always save you lots of money.
That's all I save? Drives you crazy, doesn't it?
Competitive price, another AT&T advantage.
How about a better hand soap?
Not us, we can't cope. We don't need no lava soap, nope.
Regular soap won't always work, but lava with pumice will. Interested?
Nope, nope, nope.
Lava, but don't try to cope without it soap.
Can a Clarion car cassette deck shatter this glass? Yep. Clarion car audio.
As they talk it over on the Galaxy sideline, let's take a look at the World League Silver Bullet receiving leaders through the first week of action. Kenny Bell of Birmingham on top with 10 catches. Dwight Pickens, who we're seeing here tonight, with 8. Monty Gilbreth with 7. It's a Coors Silver Bullet receiving leaders. Loose ball. San Antonio has got it, but they blew this dead.
Forward pass.
Anthony Cooney thought he was going to score 6 there.
That was a shovel pass. The shovel pass is legal. That is a legal forward pass as long as the quarterback does it. That's kind of close. We got to run that back and see if that was backwards or forwards and see where the ball ended up.
No instant replay in the World League, so no one takes a look at it while Perez goes out to his tight end Fortune out to the 34-yard line. Nice lick put on him by Anthony Cooney, who wanted that touchdown and just took it out on the Galaxy tight end.
I'd like to see them use Fortune a little bit more. They've had good success, and they've thrown the ball to him twice for good yardage. Let's take a look at this now. He releases the ball on the 21, and the ball lands on the 19.5. That's clearly a fumble, but there is no instant replay.
Wow. So the Galaxy got a break. They lead 10-3. Under a minute to go, third quarter.
Good thing there's no jumbotron here.
4. Perez throws behind an open receiver, intended for Craig Morton, and Kenny Watson actually had the better play on the ball.
And you know Mike is upset there because he had some big yardage there if he hits him right in the numbers.
That's what Craig Morton's telling him as they head to the sideline. And a punt coming up for Frankfurt. Tom Wlaf, who has been blasting his kicks.
He's been kicking with the wind, though.
He got roughed up earlier in the game, and we didn't know if he was ever going to get up, but his last 2 punts have been around the 60-yard mark. This one end over end. Taken by Lee Morris. Morris is going to lose yardage on the return. Big hit by Tim Walton on the special teams. 46-yard kick and 3 yards on the return. I wonder where Michael Barkan is. We can only wonder, right?
Brad, I am on the roof, so you got your chance. If you were only here, I am, I'll tell you, Wrigley Field and the row houses behind Waveland Avenue have nothing on this place. I'm on top of Almost Towers, which are 15 stories above the stadium. What a view. I can't see a thing. Can you see me? I'm way up. I'm waving.
We got you. We just hope we can find the manager of that building to shut the elevator off. Pretty good view up there, Michael.
I'll tell you, Brad, I can see the Space Needle. I can see all the towers in San Antonio. It's a beautiful place. I can just about see the river from here. It's absolutely gorgeous. No moon. Is there a moon? No. just checking. Back to you.
Okay. Have fun. Be careful up there.
All right.
Second down and long. A loss of 3 by Andre Johnson brings up 2nd and 13.
Frankfurt defense has been awful tough tonight.
Third quarter comes to a close, and the Galaxy pulled in front this quarter. They lead by a touchdown at the end of 3 at Alamo Stadium. 10-3, Frankfurt in front.
He's married to the mob.
Got a major score coming up.
He's married to his badge.
Gonna be his last move.
They play cops and robbers for keeps.
Take him out and shoot him.
The movie that launched the series Crime Story on USA. Thursday at 9, 8 Central.
My name is J.J. Dax. This is war between me and Anton Arcade.
The battle is boiling in the swamp. Swamp Thing on USA. An all-new episode Friday at 10:30.
I'm trying to call overseas. I think I remember the number, but... So I call the operator. But it's another long-distance company, and she can't give me an international number. Hey, AT&T does. She says, you're not dealing with AT&T.
If you miss dealing with AT&T, it's easier than ever to come back. Just call 1-800-621-0900 right now, and we'll switch you back for free.
They kept saying how much money I'd save. Then I get the first bill. I'm not kidding. I thought it was a typo. I mean, where were the big savings?
People who thought they could do better than AT&T are coming back for the real value. You can too. It's simple. Just call now and come back for free.
Takes longer getting through, but I'm saving a ton, right? Wrong.
You gotta read the fine print. I couldn't believe it.
You're not dealing with AT&T.
Oh, I am now.
1-800-621-0900 for dependable, crystal clear AT&T long-distance service. Call now and we'll switch you for free. You couldn't pick a better time to come back.
Back at Alamo Stadium, Brad Nessler and Boomer Esiason. Michael Barkan stuck in an elevator, we hope, in that building that he just did his last report from. We played 3 quarters. Frankfurt really picked it up, Boomer, in that third quarter.
They sure did, and you got to give credit to the Frankfurt defense. San Antonio can't solve that defensive front for Frankfurt. We knew that they had 5 linebackers. We didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to penetrate them, though.
Let's see if the Riders can get their offense in gear. In and out of the hands of Bill Hess, the intended receiver, on Lee Salt's pass. Galaxy in the third quarter, we talked about how they picked it up. As we take a look statistically, did they ever, huh?
They sure did, and it came down to execution. Mike Perez has been on target with the passes tonight. His receivers had a little trouble holding on in the first half, but the second half they really came out and did a nice job for him. They found Chad Fortune a little bit, made some nice plays for him.
Third and long for the Riders. Salt's with plenty of time. He's going deep. Man out there, and he's got it. Inside the 35 to the 32 is John Garrett. What a catch.
There could be offensive pass interference there if he's not careful. That was some kind of catch. John was with us in Cincinnati, and he was one of those fringe players that could have made our ball club, and he got caught in numbers. That is a terrific catch.
Marker is down,
but
and the defense arguing.
It could have been offensive pass interference, though.
Ron Blum, our referee.
Call it defense. Watch John run down here the field. Watch him push off right here and makes a beautiful diving catch.
Salts to Garrett, 49 yards.
We were talking to Mike Riley yesterday. The Garrett brothers are the type of players that you want on your football team. Never late for meetings. Very smart players who know what's going on. They know how to play football. They know what it takes to be effective on the field.
First down for the Riders under Johnson now with a ground game. Down to about the 26-yard line. Get another look at John Garrett on the receiving end of this 49-yard pass.
Watch his left hand right here. Go out. And I'm going to tell you, you know who taught him to catch the ball like that?
Oh, no, I can't wait.
Not me.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Coslett, the head coach of the New York Jets. He was our wide receiver coach at Cincinnati when we got John. And he taught all the receivers that when they run down there and they dive for the catch, to keep their hands together so the ball doesn't slip through their hands.
2nd and 5, Salts under a blitz from Pau again. Has to keep it. Mike Teeter brings him down near the line of scrimmage.
John Garrett was actually a receiver coach at Princeton last year with his brother Jason.
College championship tonight with 13 minutes left to play.
Lee Salts takes a couple of somersaults as he lands at the 26-yard line. 3rd down at 5.
Here comes the blitz.
Here comes everybody. He got rid of it, but nobody out in the middle. And it was Mark Mraz, the right defensive end.
If they can give him just a little bit of time, they're going to make some big plays.
Mraz, originally a draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons. They liked his pass rushing capabilities. He had 16 sacks as a senior at college at Utah State. Here he comes.
You only have 5 guys to block, and they're bringing 7. There are 2 that are going to be free somewhere, and you got to get rid of that ball.
Teddy Garcia has changed shoes, and he's going to try it from 44 yards out. No chance. That one came close to one of Willie Nelson's speakers down in the end zone, and that's about it. 12:54 to go in the ball game. Still 10-3, Frankfurt in front.
The Allstate Good Hands Play of the Week, brought to you by Allstate. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. San Antonio safety Carlo Cheatham showed extra care in grabbing this interception for this week's Allstate Good Hands Play of the Week.
This shows where we were throughout the whole thing. You know, looking at that now, I realize how close it was. And this is what's left of our garage. We didn't have much left in there at all. And this is what's left of our camping trailer that ended up in our neighbor's tree. They were here right away to help us out, and that's
Obviously,
all true.
Look around.
It's only been a few days, and they're already here rebuilding our house.
Allstate still, even though it's been 3.5 weeks later, they're still calling to find out how we're doing.
Dressing up, stepping out, if you're talking about fun, that's what it's all about. Shake it up, wow, put it on, check it out.
When you're in a place where the beat goes on, you don't want to fill up. So reach for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
We're talking about cool, like it's the right beer now. Shake it out, shake it out.
Alamo Stadium, Brad Nessler, Boomer Esiason, Michael Barkan, and our USA crew on a perfect night for football.
Good play, baby.
Oh, that's Lee Salts telling Mark Mraz, good play, baby. I don't know if I want to be calling Mraz baby after he hits me like that. I think I've had a few other words for him.
Perez on first down, got a slant and a completion and a first down out to Jason Johnson, his wide receiver.
I think what he's just trying to do is say, hey, you made a good play, now just leave me alone maybe the next few times.
Doubles right, doubles right.
12:35 to go in the ball game. 10-3. Frankfurt in front. They've been in San Antonio territory much of the second half, but only have one touchdown to show for it.
They're going into a stiff win now, so we'll see what kind of offense they got.
San Antonio comes off. Donnie Gardner, I think, and Greg Ross are the two across.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Real good job by
5 yards.
Real good job by Perez using his voice flexion.
99 defense. First down repeated.
He knows that San Antonio's defense is extremely aggressive, and he took advantage of that by using his voice flexion.
Next week on USA, live first and second round coverage of golf's most prestigious event, the Masters from Augusta. Watch the world's best golfers. And they all vying for that green jacket. Live coverage begins next Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on USA. On 1st and 5, Tony Baker gets the call and got it across the 45-yard line out near the 47. Still about a yard shy of the first down. Greg Gilbert ran him down. Tony Baker, who played collegiately with Ernest Biner at East Carolina. Not a bad backfield.
Nice backfield.
Second down. About 2 to go. Short 2 for the Galaxy with 11:35 to play in the ball game. Steve Bartello and Tony Baker will be in the high backfield here. Down to 3 on the 35-second clock. They got to hustle. I don't know if he got the first.
He's short. He's short. He's short about a yard.
Boomer, when you got that huddle clock down and you know you've got to press a little bit, sometimes that takes away from the play you've called, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, you're trying to hurry everybody up.
We should go I-Left 36.
They're calling 34 ISO here.
The man you're looking at is defensive coordinator Greg Newhouse for San Antonio. And a timeout taken by Frankfurt. They want to think about this third down conversion. Third down and a yard to go. 10 minutes and 58 seconds to go in the ball game. Frankfurt wants to make sure they've got the right play. We'll find out if they got the right play when we come back.
With every step, your child gets closer and closer to the problem of drug and alcohol abuse. Don't let it happen. Find out about drug abuse resistance education, or DARE America. It's an in-school program where community police officers teach kids how to say no to drugs the first time and every time. Support DARE America before your child gets too close to the edge. KFC is proud to be a national sponsor of DARE America.
The music you love is part of your life. Now there's an easy way to collect the world's most beautiful music. Announcing great composers from Time Life Music. Start with the greatest music of Mozart. More than 2 full hours of his best works. At the low price of only $9.99 for 2 compact discs or 2 double-length cassettes. Great Composers brings you the most memorable music of Bach, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Chopin. Every volume features one great composer, yours to preview at no risk. Keep only the albums you want. There's no minimum to buy, and you may cancel anytime. So call now to enjoy Mozart for a 10-day free audition and discover music you'll enjoy for a lifetime. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-388-4700 or send just $9.99 for 2 cassettes or 2 compact discs, plus $3.50 shipping to Mozart, P.O. Box 1880, Department 5, Alexandria, Virginia.
It has been called the ultimate competition in golf. Share the tradition of the Masters, only on USA. Thursday and Friday live at 4 Eastern. Rebroadcast at 9.
There we go. I-Left 36.
I-Left 36, Boomer.
That's going to be an off tackle right. Fullback's going to be leading, trying to kick out on the outside defensive end.
On 3rd and 1.
There you go.
Tony Baker dropped in his tracks by Ledbetter. Flags are down as Mark Ledbetter just leveled Tony Baker.
Where the flags are, that could be defensive offside. It usually looks like a defender is usually in the neutral zone.
That's what the Galaxy is saying.
It's supposed to be neutral, and if a guy is in there, it can't be a neutral zone, can it?
Defense, offside. 58, 5 yard.
Roderick Manning, offside. Defensive coordinator Greg Newhouse looks on.
Mark Ledbetter made an excellent play to avoid the lead block by the fullback. Stop Ricky Blake in the backfield. You can see right here, the fullback is responsible for Ledbetter. does a nice job sticking Tony Baker, I should say, for a 5-yard loss.
But they get the 5-yard gain on the penalty. 7 for each team. And now the Galaxy back in Rider territory. Perez, if pressured, goes across the middle. And he's got Jason Johnson, who's been really his favorite target this half, to the 31-yard line. A first down, a pickup of 17.
They moved Perez out of the pocket to his right. And he threw back across the middle.
First down for the Galaxy.
Johnson right there in front of Richard, number 44, makes the catch.
Johnson does a nice job coming back to the ball. But you want your receivers going the same way your quarterback is going when you have a designed play. The touchdown pass that they had was a play that was spontaneous, and the receivers were going the other way.
A hard count pulls San Antonio offside again. Baker on the toss, and he'll go down for a loss, but it looked again like the Riders jumped offside. Greg Ross, who made the stop, injured his foot there. We'll get the call from our referee.
Offside, 22 defense.
Sean Dykes, the corner.
Corner blitz coming on, and those corners are not used to being up there and listening to the quarterback bark out his cadence. Perez did a nice job there of using his voice again and pulled Dykes offside this time.
62, 3 tight. 3 tight.
Mike Riley on the right, coach of the Riders. Jack Elway on the left, the head coach of the Galaxy. Both looking for their first win in World League action. And right now, Frankfurt on top by a touchdown with less than 10 minutes to play in the ballgame. Perez to throw, swings it out to Baker in the flat. And Baker gets down to the 23. Ledbetter ran him out.
They keep going back to that play. That play has been very successful for them tonight. I believe Perez is 7 for 8 on that swing play.
There's the numbers and how they've improved in the second half for Mike Perez. And they would have been better in the first half had it not been for some drop passes.
Right, 92X.
Looks like there could have been a little bit of a face mask right here. Mark Ledbetter making sure that Tony Baker knows who tackled him.
Baker's got 4 catches. Ball way in the air and intercepted. Picked off by Ken Watson, who brings it back the other way for San Antonio. That deflection went about 15 yards in the air, and he picked it off. We have a marker down at the 22-yard line. So let's wait and see. Boy, that one looked like a rock skipping off a pond out there.
Illegal low block, 58 on the return team after the change. 15 yards, 1st and 10, San Antonio.
So the penalty goes against San Antonio, but they keep the football.
What happens is when an interception or a fumble happens, that is a change of possession, and on the change of possession, you cannot block below the waist. And the reason being is because you have a lot of guys running that don't see other guys coming after them to make the block, and it can be a very dangerous block. That's exactly what happened right there. You'll see right here.
Watson intercepts now. We'll look for the block.
As Watson runs.
It was just out of screen.
Just out of screen, but
Kenny Watson gets the interception and gives San Antonio another chance.
The rule is in there to protect the players, and the players should know those rules and why they're in there.
Backs it up to the 11-yard line. Blitz coming on Saltz, and he had it swatted down again. And that time it was Tim Brody who came flying in from his linebacker position. We talked about him earlier, Boomer. He's kind of a hybrid linebacker, really more like a guy in the secondary.
Well, they say they play with 5 linebackers, but actually 2 of their outside linebackers are actually a normal size for a strong safety. So it looks a little bit more menacing on paper than it does actually on the field. But it is kind of confusing for the quarterback to figure out which one of these defensive backs, linebackers, is going to be blitzing.
2nd and 10. Saltz with some pressure again, but he got rid of that one, and the ball completed. First down out to the 24 to Lee Morris.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to move Lee around, so he's not taking as many hits as he's been taking so far. Good. Again, isolation coverage, one-on-one. That's what you want. You have your 2 best athletes on the field working after each other, defensive back versus the wide receiver.
Fourth quarter here at Alamo Stadium, 10-3. The Riders trying to tie it up, or they could have a chance to win should they decide to go for two, but first they need a touchdown. Markers are down. We may have a holding call as finally Schultz goes down.
John Husby has been beaten around the corner the last 2 weeks on almost the same play. Lee Schultz already got hit once. Jason Garrett got hurt last week. And almost the same thing happened here, but Husby
10 yards, previous spot.
was not going to allow his quarterback to take a hit. This is absolutely, well, this is, you know, that you want your offensive lineman to be like this because you don't want to take a shot from the blind side. And Husby knew that he was beat, and he did the next best thing, protect your quarterback. You can see Husby gets beat around the corner. There he is.
He goes down, almost got his own quarterback.
So you don't see, he actually threw. Actually grabbed him by the jersey and threw him in front of the quarterback.
So the penalty makes it a first down situation way back at the 14-yard line for Schultz. Pump fakes, and now he's going to run with it. Got it across the 25 to the 26, back across the original line of scrimmage as he picked up a dozen on the scramble. Keith McCoy made the tackle.
This is where Lee has an opportunity to lead by example. Play hard, play tough nose. Don't worry about the sacks. Don't worry about taking the hits.
Brings up second down and 7 as he got 13 on that run. 4 wide receiver offense for Schultz.
And he's audibling at the line of scrimmage right now.
Little draw play inside. Going nowhere is Ricky Blake. Kevin Hendricks has had a big night defensively, made the stop. Epi Pau also there.
When he audibles at the line of scrimmage, he's looking at the defensive front and the linebackers, and he tries to find a weakness and tries to get the proper play called versus the weakness of the defense. Sometimes it works, and sometimes the defense fools you.
That time, no gain, 3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Powell got picked off. Schultz got the throw away, but Cedric Stallworth knocked it away from Lee Morris. Since that interference call Cedric Stallworth had earlier in this half, he has played a nice job on the corner over there for Frankfurt. Punting situation.
Physically, it's one of the toughest positions in football, if not the toughest cornerback, especially when you ask a guy to play man coverage against some of the finest athletes on the football field and wide receivers.
Ken Sullivan.
And they literally are out on an island.
Sullivan to kick. Inside his own 15. Frankfurt jumped offside on the left side, and Sullivan got all of this. What a great kick by Sullivan. San Antonio trying to shag it down before it goes in the end zone. How can Ken Sullivan hit one for no yardage and then blast one that goes 74 yards?
He had a talk with himself at halftime.
Wow, did he ever.
And he said, when I kick in the 4th quarter with the win, I'm really going to let it go.
But a penalty marker down as Frankfurt, the left side of their defensive front, looked like they jumped. Maybe Kevin Woolfolk, number 50.
I think what you have to do here is decline this
defense
penalty.
offside. The result of the play is a touchback.
You don't turn down a kick like that. So Frankfurt will have it at their own 20-yard line as we get a little mariachi action here from San Antonio, Texas.
Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
I'm Dave Johnson. For my training for the 1992 decathlon, I switched to the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, my feet have support, protection, and a custom fit for leaping, vaulting, spinning, jumping, sprinting, hurling, racing, running, throwing, and shot putting. Now I'm the guy who knows cross-training. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
When your office is 200,000 acres of rugged woodland, and you train the men who prevent anything from happening to it, you can't depend on just any deodorant. Men count on Old Spice deodorant. It works to prevent odor, to neutralize it before it starts. There's nothing else this effective with the clean classic scent of Old Spice.
Hi, hon. Got to stay at the office?
You bet. Old Spice deodorant, because prevention is the ultimate form of protection. Count on it.
Catch the action with Dan Marino as the Barcelona Dragons battle the Raleigh-Durham Skyhawks. World League Football on USA. Saturday at 8 Eastern.
Sold out Alamo Stadium in San Antonio. They're hoping their riders can come from 7 back to tie this game up. Right now it is 10-3 Frankfurt, and they've got the ball. So let's see what the Riders defense can come up with. They got the crowd into it during the timeout. Let's see if the defense is into it and up to the occasion. Perez and the Galaxy offense from the 20. Inside draw to Baker. Big opener for Tony Baker. He's got 16 out to the 36-yard line. Michael Barkan with a guy that's happy about that play, I'm sure. Michael?
Absolutely, Brad. I'm with Frankfurt General Manager Oliver Luck, himself a record holder at quarterback at West Virginia. You have to be happy with your quarterback's performance tonight, especially after last week.
Sure, Mike Perez is playing very well. He's throwing the ball well. We dropped a few passes, but he's on the mark today.
Let's talk about the general manager position. I know you've had your share of headaches over in Frankfurt. You speak German, but nonetheless, it's been a little bit of a problem at times. Tell me some of that.
Well, travel's a big problem. Trying to move 50 guys plus equipment overseas through customs, etc., has often been a big problem. But we're getting a good handle on that problem. That'll be solved.
Mein Gott und Himmel. Back to you.
We got a timeout with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the ball game. It is 10-3 Frankfurt as Mike Perez comes over to talk with head coach Jack Elway. And while we've got this break, let's go to Diana Nyad in New York for an update on our other game. Diana?
Brad, Barcelona's quarterback Scott Ernie's having a great night up in Montreal. He looks right, and Gene Taylor leaps for the catch. His second touchdown reception of the night. That's 31 straight points for the Barcelona Dragons. Let's go back to Brad Nessler.
The Dragons about set to go to 2-0. London already 2-0 in the European division.
I would think the European division is representing itself rather well.
Sure are. Frankfurt, if they win this, they'd go to 1-1, and that would be the best division in the World League after 2 weekends of play. Orlando off to a 2-0 start.
And given the problems that Oliver Luck was telling us about, I wonder what the problems for Barcelona and London have been.
That's right. Next week, we will see Montreal and Birmingham in Montreal. That's where Michael, Boomer, and I will be. Hope you're along with us for that one. 10-3 in this game with 5.5 to play. And the Frankfurt Galaxy just 5.5 minutes away from a victory. San Antonio, after a 1-point loss last week, a disheartening setback with a missed extra point against Orlando in the final minute, the difference in that ball game. And tonight they're down only a touchdown. Their defense has played pretty well, with the exception of one long pass play from that man, Mike Perez, to Cedric Gordon for the score. And there's the numbers for Mike tonight.
Not a great night in terms of completion percentage, but again, we've said all night he's been on target. I mean, he's put the ball where it's had to be catched, and his receivers have responded in the second half.
How about Kerwin Bell, another 4-touchdown outing after he showed us a 5-touchdown performance last week. He's way out on top of the quarterback statistics right now for the World League after a couple of weeks. He only played about 3 quarters the other day.
And they scored 58 points, I believe it was.
Alex!
Ooh.
Orlando can put up the points. They've proven that, as they have 80, make it 93 points in 2 games.
Kerwin had a good week. He was 29 of 44. That's an exciting team to watch. That really is. Tom Matthews has done a real good job down there with the 5 weeks that he's had with those players.
Mike Perez, 11 out of 19 for 165 yards this half. Right now, he just wants to use up 5.5 minutes. That's what he should have been thinking. Picked off by Greg Gilbert. San Antonio's got it back at the 32-yard line.
Mike probably thought that he could get it over Greg Gilbert, underestimating Gilbert's leaping ability. Nice catch for the big man.
I like offensive football, Boomer, but you're up a touchdown with a 1st and 10 and 5.5 to play, and you throw this thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. If he just gets it over him, he's got Fortune running down the middle wide open. And that's a great play by Gilbert. I like the aggressiveness of Frankfurt offense.
San Antonio's offense now at the Galaxy 32-yard line.
They're going to blitz. Here they come.
Saltz just got rid of it, and it's intercepted right back by Cedric Stallworth, and he's got room in front. Stallworth still on his feet, cuts back. He's all the way to the 38-yard line. So take away any momentum the San Antonio defense could come up with. Cedric Stallworth just ended all that with an interception and a 37-yard return.
Cedric read that ball all the way. He read it all the way.
Then he got a convoy in front and got it back to the 38-yard line.
At the San Antonio 38.
And the Galaxy picks up big yardage after back-to-back interceptions there in San Antonio territory, and a loose ball, and San Antonio's got it back. Give me a break. 3 turnovers in a row. Gardner with a fumble recovery.
Wow, this is like a revolving door out here.
We might end up with more turnovers than points before it's over.
That's the one thing that has plagued the league early on here has been the turnovers.
One thing I don't know is if the World League has a fine for throwing the football in the stands, but Donnie Gardner will find out. He just tossed that baby almost out of the stadium after the fumble recovery.
San Antonio ball, 1st down and 10 at the 37.
Baker got hit by Walton. The ball came loose. Gardner recovers. Back comes the San Antonio offense. Let's see if they hold on to it. Andre Johnson broke the tackle. 45 midfield. 1st down, Andre Johnson.
Boy, that is some nice feet. Andre just pulled his feet right out from a would-be tackler and made a nice run.
These people are having fun. Why not? Their team with another chance to come back with 5 minutes to go.
Spread right! Spread right! 5:24!
You got 10 seconds on the play clock. 6.
They're trying to move the sticks on the far side, so the officials weren't helping the cause there either. And now they reset.
Let's go, get down. We got to snap it. 5 seconds.
The clock. Saltz gets his troops set. 1st down at the 48 of Frankfurt.
Here comes the blitz.
The Galaxy bringing it. Pass to Ronnie Williams at tight end. If he can get away, he'll have a big gainer, but hanging with it out there defensively was Stallworth to make the tackle. Ronnie Williams, who was a big part of the offense for San Antonio a week ago. Number 82 right there at 4 catches last week. Doing a nice job this week as well.
That's a nice matchup for San Antonio. If they can get the big guy out into the flat and break a tackle with the way that Frankfurt is blitzing, one missed tackle means a big play for San Antonio.
Williams got 6 on the reception with his 3rd catch of the night. 2nd and 4. Saltz just got rid of it. Got a man. Hess. He's got it at the 5.
I got to tell you, Lee Saltz made a great play. An absolutely wonderful throw under duress. And as he let the ball go, he took it right in the back. Lee has been under some heat tonight, and he's hung in it. It's 4th quarter, he's still standing, he's leading the team all the way down. That was a nice play by Lee Saltz.
And Billy Hess, number 83 right there, is going to haul this one in. 37 yards later.
That was San Antonio's form of the swing pattern, where their inside receiver starts out and then turns up and gains an edge as he turns up the field. Keith McCoy was beaten out of the blocks.
And Hess with the grab. It's 1st and goal. San Antonio Riders with 3:48 to play in a 10-3 ball game.
There's 9 our best side of our offensive line.
We look at the reverse angle, and Billy Hess with some nice concentration. Well, with as many drop balls as we saw in the 1st half, we see some nice catches in the 2nd half. Let's listen in on the sideline.
Motion in, 38 toss.
Okay, we're going to go with 38 tosses. This is going to be a toss wide right.
All right.
And if Frankfurt has a blitz, somebody is going to be responsible for kicking out Terry Fleming, the outside linebacker standing up top. It's going to be Terry Fleming's job to stop this play, give his teammates a chance to swarm to the ball.
It'll probably be Broderick Graves, the fullback's job, to keep that from happening. The backfield, Graves will go out. He's going to go out as a wide receiver. I backfield with Ricky Blake, and Andre Johnson is the tail.
Okay, here we go.
First
toss sweep to the right.
There's Andre Johnson. There's the block, but he only got back to the line of scrimmage. Yepi Pau again in on the tackle from his middle linebacker position.
It's going to be a pretty lonely feeling if you're Terry Fleming standing out there and everybody coming running at you. And somehow you got to create a pile to give your defenders a chance to swarm.
6:23 on one. Ready? Hurry up! Let's go! Let's go!
How about number 82, Ronnie Williams, the tight end? That'd be a good spot for him, Boomer.
Ooh, this would be. This is probably a little bit of a rollout to the left here, I believe.
Second and goal at the Galaxy 5. San Antonio needs a touchdown. Here's the fade to the corner. Overshot his man, and a penalty marker down in the end zone.
Passed him and then had to grab him to hold him back. That's a good call by the referee on the backside who saw the hold.
First and goal at the 2-yard line for San Antonio. They trail the Frankfurt Galaxy by a touchdown, and they need 7 or maybe 8. Who knows? Here's the toss. Andre Johnson, and again he goes down to the line of scrimmage. Second and goal, and Andre Johnson heading to the corner. Not quite.
Brody made a heck of it here.
The give is to Johnson again. No. He's about a foot short. Terry Fleming made the hit along with Yepi Pau, who's been in on virtually every tackle, it seems like.
Oh, that would have been a great place for play action right there. Everybody packed in.
They're going to let the clock wind down to 2 minutes so they can talk it over on the sideline. As we come up to the 2-minute warning, Andre Johnson's coming right at you.
Ooh.
And down at about the 1-foot line.
There's a critical mistake that San Antonio made right here. They called timeout when they could have allowed the clock to run down to the 2-minute warning. Instead, they called timeout.
Started to call timeout, then wanted to pull it back, but it was too late.
I think Lee's sweating over our head, our helmet cam there.
Over the top and get it. I really do on the fucking 1-yard line.
43 ISO, which way? 42 or 43? What's our best side? Or top, let's go. Here we go. What do you want? 42 ISO. 42 ISO.
Okay, 42 ISO. 42 ISO, I would imagine, is a lead
down, I'm
play.
It back to you. Go over the top, baby. 42
off the right.
ISO.
And Andre, Ricky's going to probably dive over the top on the right-hand side.
Left. We're going motion over. 42 ISO on 1. Ready? Oh, yeah. Come on, I'll bring it back to you.
42 ISO on 1.
The ball's at about the 1-foot line with that much time left, and San Antonio needs a touchdown. Let's see if the play is the one they needed. Graves in motion. Johnson is... I thought he made it in. About the final play for San Antonio, the last play for San Antonio. And Perez just trying to get it out by about a yard. Let's look at that last San Antonio offensive play, Boomer.
We can see that Andre does not make it across the goal line. The ball does not break the plane of the goal line right here. You can see right here, here's the goal line, and here's the ball. Excuse my drawing, I wasn't very good in art class.
Gets the point across, though, as you see Johnson come down, and the helmet and some of the shoulder pads across the ball, as Boomer just showed you, wasn't. And the Galaxy takes over. They've got second down and 9 at their own 1. Perez in his own end zone, going deep, left side, and caught out of bounds by Jason Johnson.
I don't know about that play either, because now that stops the clock. San Antonio only has 1 timeout left. They kind of made a mistake by calling timeout right before the 2-minute warning. And they're out there throwing the ball. They could have knocked off another 35 seconds off the clock. So I don't know about that play there.
Another thing to keep in mind is Jack Elway looks on and looks like he has a big-time German headache. Frankfurt's turned the ball over the last 3 times they've had it. They don't want to make it 4 in a row here. Perez hit in the helmet at the 1.
That was close to a safety right there. He took a shot right in the head. That was close to a safety right there.
Somebody got a left hand in there. Perez is shaken up. San Antonio calls their last time out with 1:07 left in the game, and they're going to get the football back. They trail by a touchdown.
Take a safety. I think that what you want to do is you want to take a safety here because the punter is normally anywhere from 12 to 15 yards behind the center. In this case, he's only about 11.
So
a great opportunity for a block. I think I would probably take a safety here.
Neither team has enough players on the field. Wlaf will just step out the back of the end zone if what we think is about to happen does.
And the punter
is going to kick it. And on the run is Morris at the 30-yard line. I don't know, strategy-wise, Coach Esiason. I think you had it called. I'd take the 2 points, the 5-point lead, and blast one from the 20 if I was.
Well, I would have taken the safety, but especially with the fact that he was kicking into the wind.
So San Antonio, if you thought they ran out of life, they haven't. Lee Saltz takes a look at his huddle, 30 yards from the end zone.
Screen. Okay, here we got a screen pattern here. Here is screen pattern to Ricky Blake.
Lee Saltz with a blitz coming.
There it is.
Got it to Andre Johnson. Broke a tackle. Johnson doesn't get out of bounds, but he got the first down near the 19.
Needed to get out of bounds there.
No timeouts for San Antonio, but they stopped the clock to move the sticks. So 10-3 the score. San Antonio needs a touchdown. They got down to the 3-inch line a few moments ago. Now the clock going again.
Here comes the blitz.
Saltz, everybody coming. Ball is loose. Hit from behind at the 30-yard line. Took a big shot from Chris Alexander.
Frankfurt is staying with their defensive game plan, and they're just coming after him.
5th sack of the night for the Galaxy. Here they come with everybody.
And they said that Lee was in the process of throwing that football. That's why they're moving the ball back to the line of scrimmage. I kind of think that looked like more like a sack to me than it.
Break for the Riders. Here comes the same blitz and the same linebacker. Now he didn't throw that one.
I'll tell you what.
And he may not throw another one tonight after that hit.
26 seconds.
3rd down and about 17 coming up. Clock moving down inside 20 seconds now. The Riders trail by a touchdown. Saltz incomplete, intended for Williams.
Lee Saltz is hurt. His arm, he might have separated his shoulder much like Jason did last week.
Remember, Saltz in because Jason Garrett suffered a shoulder separation against Orlando last week. And that's Mike Johnson, the only quarterback left for San Antonio.
I tell you, Lee is hurt right now. He can hardly lift his arm.
This is the last chance for San Antonio. It's 4th down at 17 with 12 seconds left.
Lee's not going down. This could be
tough.
Remember the Alamo.
He's trying to play a John Wayne here. Got the pass away. It's caught. And it's about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Game's over.
1 second left, but the Galaxy has prevented the first down. It is all over. The Galaxy will go to 2-0.
I'll tell you what, Lee Saltz.
Happy general manager looking on. Tonight's KFC player of the game is Yepi Pau, who is in on a bunch of tackles tonight. Kentucky Fried Chicken will make a donation of $1,000 in Yepi's name to DARE, Drug Abuse Resistant Education. Our congratulations to Yepi Pau, middle linebacker of Frankfurt, as the Galaxy is unbeaten. They make their first trip on American soil a success tonight. I should say Frankfurt 1-1, excuse me, after the win tonight. And there is apparently 1 play left, so let's hold on. And they're checking the shoulder of Lee Saltz.
Lee Saltz is hurt. He got second to last play of the game. He got drilled. And I'll tell you something, that is one tough kid. He played those last 2 downs. The possible separate. The way it looks like to me is that he has a sore shoulder.
Kind of dangling the right arm. He hung in to the very last second, literally, as Mike Perez will go to one knee, and this one's all over.
Lee showed me something there, Brad. I'll tell you what, he was taking a pounding all night long, and he kept hanging in there. He's banged up pretty good.
The Riders got within a couple of inches of the goal line in the final moments of this game, but the Galaxy held and then held off the last pass play. And Frankfurt goes to 1-1. San Antonio still looking for a win with a 10-3 loss in front of the hometown fans here tonight. Don't forget Saturday.